steps. 4 steps. High fives in the parking lot. Ties his shoes with a double knot. High fives in the parking lot. Ties his shoes with a double knot. High fives in the parking lot.
Howdy everyone, I'm back. I skipped the last 2 days because I was feeling sick. Oh my god, like what is today? Yesterday was my day off and I slept. I'm not even fucking around. From like a midnight or something. I slept from midnight something on Thursday until 7 p.m. Friday because I was just feeling terrible. I was already feeling a little sick on Thursday. So that's why I didn't stream Thursday night. And then Friday, I felt awful. I still feel like a little sick, but for the most part, I'm just like minorly stuffy and I feel a little warm. I'm a little loopy from cold medicine. But yeah, I just got like a flash cold out of nowhere. Because of that, we're easing back into it. I wanted to finish up my fucking script, but honestly, like, because I was just cooked and my brain is cooked, we're gonna do something like kind of easy today. I watched like the first 5 minutes of this. Alright? I watched the first 5 minutes of this. And I was like, fuck, I want to react to this because this guy is wild to me. I guess I kind of saw him around, but I haven't really paid attention to him until recently. He got arrested, I think, or is going to get arrested. Maybe gonna go to prison for 5 years for shooting an alligator or a crocodile or something, which, yeah, I mean, don't do that. That's super fucked. But, also, I feel bad for this guy. He's kind of like the most victim. He's, you know, the meme suffering from success. You know the suffering from success meme. That's this guy. Like, his entire worldview is so fucked because, like, I learned this about him in like literally the first 5 minutes of this hour-long interview, so we're gonna kind of go over it. So I'm not spoiling anything. We're gonna see this again so quick. He admits that he kind of got into this looks maxing thing during the pandemic. Here's the thing: this man is 21 years old. That means he got sucked down incel like pipeline looks maxing nonsense with like manosphere incel look maxing nonsense when this guy was 15 years old. Then he started blowing up when he was 19 years old. This man is deeply body dysmorphic, definitely autistic, and he got cooked by the pandemic. His poor, maturing mind got absolutely blasted by isolation. Absolutely blasted. And he was already vulnerable to that, being like a young man, which are like, I think probably, we talk about girls being emotionally vulnerable. No, young boys, young men are the most emotionally vulnerable group of people. So he's already super emotionally vulnerable. That's amplified by him being autistic. And then he gets cooked by the pandemic, where he gets to just stew for like, what was it, like 15 months or something? He gets to just stew for 15 months, cycling in this shit. And then, instead of being able to be snapped back into reality, he's suffering from success in that now he has confirmation bias. He thinks the way he's decided to live is good. He thinks the way he's decided to live is popular. He thinks what he's doing is, it, for a lack of a better word, virtuous, because he's found success doing it. The best thing that could happen to this guy, I'm not even fucking around, would probably be to get pulled out of the fucking limelight for a while. Not that I think it would necessarily be good for him to go to prison for 5 years, but he definitely shouldn't be famous for the next 5 years. This is so sad. Anyway, let's watch this and react to it, because like this is wild to me.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Braden Peters, known online as Clavicular, Clav for short. A 20-year-old from Hoboken, New Jersey, currently living and trapping content out of a rented mansion in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The property has been converted to a 24/7, fully staffed live streaming studio for Clav's particular brand of
I'm guessing from the
content,
close
which focuses
shots
on partying and also
of
helping young men, particularly in Gen Alpha and early Gen Z, look sexy as fuck and ascend by engaging in looks maxing
we got what, like test and probably some kind of fat loss drug. Who knows what else the fuck that
activities
is.
Like facial surgery, limb lengthening, Botox, peptide use, and steroid injection, all with the goal of raising their SMV, sexual market value, in a way that will lead to more ascension and life success. Across mainstream platforms, he has over 1 million followers and over 170,000 recurring viewers on the live streaming platform Kick. I don't want to spoil it too much though. Let's get into the interview.
All right, thanks so much for making the time, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, sorry.
How's it going?
I
How
know
you
we're
doing, man?
getting started. How are you?
I'm good. So for those who don't know, can you tell us your name and kind of what you do?
I am Clavicular. I do live streaming. I hop on a variety of podcasts to talk about sort of my philosophy on why looks are arguably one of the most important things.
They're not. I'm sorry, guys. They're not. You can be busted as fuck. You can be poor as fuck. The guys and gals are still going to be India. This just isn't true.
In terms of your success in life.
Mm-hmm. And what do you mean by that?
Well, what I basically mean is every single trait of yours is going to be perceived differently according to your looks level, right? So if you're super caged in and shy, but you're good looking, they'll
Same. I have immediately after watching, so I watched like the first 5 minutes of this. I kind of went against this. Everything I learned in the first 5 minutes is just that this guy is a victim of life circumstances. First off, he is 21 years old. He's about to admit that he got into the looks maxing stuff during the lockdown. Think about that. He's 21 years old. The lockdown was 6 years ago already. This guy got cooked at 15. His poor adolescent mind got cooked at 15. Also, he's autistic, so he's extra vulnerable to having, like, these hyperfixations. And then on top of that, he got successful at 19 through social media. He started gaining a following at 19. So he has confirmation bias, like giving him a feedback loop that what he's doing is good, right, and like virtuous because he's finding success in doing it. This guy, this is tragedy. This guy is tragedy. He is the picture of tragedy. This poor kid is so fucked up through essentially the perfect dice roll of bad and good circumstances snowballing together to create the worst perspective.
will be perceived a lot different rather than if you were, you know, an acne-ridden, balding jester and you stay...
This is the sad thing that's kind of like semi-true about the like incel manosphere mindset, is that everything maybe has like a 5% kernel of truth. Like, okay, I'm not saying life isn't easier if you're hot. I'm not saying you won't get a different benefit of the doubt if you're hot. Like him saying that if you're hot and a recluse, you're viewed differently than if you're kind of a gamer troll and a recluse. But the thing is, like, you can overcome any of that with personality. You can overcome any of that with human connection. And it doesn't even actually matter if you are a repulsive gamer troll. Because you know what? There's still guys and gals out there who are into repulsive gamer trolls. You just have to have genuine interests. And honestly, that's it. Just be interesting. Just care about stuff. And other people will have an interest in your interest. Interest is interesting. That's it. Interest is interesting.
All day, people will call you a recluse, they'll call you weird, whatever. So even though the actions are the complete same. So that's what I'm talking about here.
And what's the exact equation for measuring like aesthetic value?
So there's a lot of different ratios that go into it to calculate someone's overall facial harmony score. So for example, that could be the width of your eyes relative to the width of your cheekbones, would be your eye separation ratio, or your mid-face ratio, for example. And then you're going to take all these measurements.
No! He's got face math? I actually didn't know about this. Okay, wait. The looks maxers are doing face math. I'm sorry. That implies there's a one correct beauty standard. Yeah, ugly people have procreated since the dawn of time. Look maxing is just a fancy word for body dysmorphia. It's true! He's just an autistic young dude who has body dysmorphia. And got cooked by the pandemic. And online incel forums. Look, okay, as someone who I would say basically got a degree in understanding aesthetics and aesthetic perception in things. I'm gonna say this is beyond ridiculous because there is no one beauty standard. Beauty standards are developed culturally. People buy into beauty standards that are reinforced by the people around them. There is no universal beauty standard. There is no even universal beauty standard within cultures, because while cultures can reinforce a beauty standard that becomes standard, as the word implies, or generalized, it becomes like generalized, it becomes the normal version of beauty, that doesn't mean that, one, that standard doesn't change and morph over time, and two, doesn't mean that unconventional beauty doesn't arise. It's still, like, there's still subcultures of beauty. And you could see that within subcultures, because subcultures will have their own aesthetic standards. You could almost look at this like genres of art. There are different aesthetic goals in different genres of art. Just like there are different aesthetic goals in subcultures in every macro culture. Like South Korea. South Korea is like the plastic surgery capital of the world, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure they're like the plastic surgery capital of the world. The plastic surgery they're getting is not the same plastic surgery that people are getting in America. And it's because they're chasing different standards. So to try and say that there's a fucking mathematical algo for facial, like, hotness is so dumb.
And calculate them into a final percentage harmony score.
Who has the highest score right now living?
I believe it's Matt Bomer.
What in particular about Matt's face gives him that high score?
It's not one particular thing because it's a calculation of a lot of different measurements.
Well, congrats on the big viewership and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Oh my god, it is. Oh my god, it is. Okay, so speaking of that, have you ever seen the South Korean president's wife? This is actually crazy. Okay. Here she is. Did you see the recent before and after photos of Dennis Richards' face surgery? Dennis Richards. Who's Denise Richards. No, who is this? I don't think I even... Face surgery. I don't think I even know who this is, and I can't find, like, a before and after photo by Googling it. I'm seeing some photos, but they look almost non-existent in the change from, like, before or after, so I'm just, like, I don't know, like, she got maybe, like, a facelift, like, a little bit of the sag got tucked up, but it doesn't seem that transformative. But anyway, I'm going to scroll down, and this woman right here, this woman right here, which let's just let's show some pictures of this woman. She looks like a doll, in my opinion. This woman. Got any idea how old she is? Because, you know, I'm going to be real. Even in close-ups, I'd guess that this woman's like 30s, like mid-30s to early 40s. I'm gonna be totally real. That's what I would guess. She's 53. Yeah, they have like wild double standards. The average age of getting your first plastic surgery in South Korea is 19. The average age. That means a lot of people get it earlier. If the average is 19, a lot of people are getting it much earlier. That's some freak shit.
It's kind of cool to see the mechanics of algorithmic takeover here.
I appreciate that.
I read less than a year ago you were a line cook.
That's right. Well, it was just one of my many roles at a restaurant I worked at.
What made you kind of want to jump into creating content?
I had already been kind of posting my looks maxing.
That is a actually an interesting answer for someone who's worked in food, that really shows that they've worked in food, because I always feel weird telling people I'm a cook, because you never do just one thing when you work in like food, unless it's fast food. Like fast food, you might have a role, and that role might shift. But when you work in food, you are just doing like 25 different things per day. Especially if you work in a food place that doesn't just do food.
You know, routine and the protocols I was doing for a good amount of time on TikTok, not really taking it too seriously, and I was posting on online forums. So I was sort of like a well-known name in a really small, tight-knit community. And then I kind of took it a little bit more serious, because people were asking me, like, how do you do this? What was your experience like with this, peptide, whatever? And it started to get a lot of traction very early on. So I just continued with it, and we're here now.
So going back to like the early days, you were born in 2005, right?
That's right.
How would you describe your like childhood? Was it fun?
Pretty normal, I'd say.
Your social experience in school though, how was that?
I mean, what age range are we talking about?
I guess like right around 13, 14 is what I'm thinking.
Well, that would have been during the pandemic, so I was in online.
That's what I'm saying. That cooked him. That cooked him right there.
School.
Oh shit. How do you think that being in online school like, transformed your experience during that time?
Well, obviously you're not interacting with anyone. So
Yeah.
You're just like lidaring.
But I mean, was that the time window that you sort of fell into the looks maxing community?
Around that time, actually, yeah.
What do you think?
Right at the tail end of the pandemic, actually.
What do you think like initially appealed to you about it?
Well, it just seemed like when I first started lifting, and then I got really into, pharmacology and steroid usage, I was like, this is like literally a video game cheat code, is what it almost feels like.
Dude, he started using steroids. That would have been 15, 16. He started using steroids halfway through high school. Halfway through high school.
And it seemed like so ridiculous to try to play the game fair when I had access to all these things.
What was the first kind of thing that you tried out? Was
Test.
Test. How do you...
I have heard this guy has put so much test in his body that he's that his testicles don't work anymore. Like his testicles have atrophied.
You get that stuff.
No comment.
But it's like, it's technically illegal in the US, right? But other countries have like more lax regulations.
No, it's prescription only.
Okay. And how did that affect your like looks immediately? Like when you mix that with a bit of lifting?
I started to blow up quite quickly in terms of the amount of muscle mass I had.
Wait, no.
Blow up.
That is accidental renaissance. Okay, I'm blocking that. This is actually accidentally one of the greatest photos of all time. Look at this. Look at this. He's just like, check out my fucking lats. Look at them. I got mad lats. Look at that lateral definition. Oh, my fucking pits into my shoulder size. They're huge. And then Mima's like, am I doing it right? Am I getting you a good photo, Sonny? Is this what you want? Oh, good for her. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Quite quickly in terms of the amount of muscle mass I had.
That's honestly, like, you gotta know, he actually probably has a pretty supporting family, if that's in there. Like, I gotta assume that he doesn't have, like, a suspect home life. This is literally all autism and lockdown.
But I descended because I was lifting in a huge caloric surplus. So I turned into kind of like a blob sack. So, I mean, I definitely looks minned from taking tests.
What does that mean? Looks minned? He's just making shit up.
And just bulking, but it wasn't the test. It was just like prioritizing physique and mass over leanness and angularity.
And you were already creating content like right off the bat when you found this stuff, or did that come a bit later?
I actually sort of was around, I started kind of documenting a lot of what I was doing on forums, and actually have like a few YouTube videos like kind of going over my experience that people dug up from years prior about like various different cycles I had done. But yeah, so I've been doing content for a little while, but none of it was serious. I never intended to monetize it or have a career made out of it.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is not an advertisement, by the way, but did you hear that about a year ago, we bought back our old show, All Gas, No Brakes? Remember,
No,
from
I
2019
didn't.
to 2020, my first show? We bought it back, as well as the entire
Really?
catalog of unreleased All Gas, No Brakes episodes.
If you're my friend and you come visit me in the RV, do not take a shit.
MS-13 is actually the biggest piece of shit I've ever met.
And guess what? We are currently on tour right now, going across the country, screening OG and new All Gas, No Brakes material, and screening some never-before-seen Channel 5 documentaries that I think you'd like to see. So if you want to come to our C5 Carnival, which is a hybrid all-gas Channel 5
I would
screening
totally go
with
to
a
one of
talent
these
show
if they ever
and a
showed
rap
up.
battle
I would
embedded
totally do
inside
it.
of it, you should definitely buy a ticket
fuck?
right now at www.channel5.news. It's called the C5 Carnival. We're going to so many different cities.
Channel 5 Carnival, cuz.
If you live in Portland, Austin, Denver, Vancouver, BC, Atlanta, El Paso, Phoenix, San Diego, and then wrap up in the big AB motherfucking Q, biatch. Hope to see you guys on the road. Again, tickets are on sale right now at www.channel5.news.
What do you think was the particular moment that made people really catch on to what you were doing?
I would say that a lot of like the DIY stuff was what blew up, because a lot of people were too
DIY
scared to
looks
try it
maxing.
themselves. Like,
It isn't all looks maxing DIY. Oh well, okay, no, I guess plastic surgery. You can't plastic surgery yourself.
doing injectable fat dissolvers and stuff. I would post it on YouTube, and people thought it was crazy. They thought it was interesting. So that kind of gave me a
It
lot
is
of
crazy.
clout within,
It is
like,
kind of
the
interesting.
tight-knit looks maxing community. But in terms of like mainstream success and things like TikTok or whatever, a lot of what led to my blow up was like a segment I did calling out copes, right? Because in early 2025, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember, there was just like a lot of ridiculous methods kind of being put out there for looks maxing that really didn't make fucking sense at all.
Like what's the stupidest method that you saw where you were like, no way? Is that
Oh,
gonna
dude,
work?
there was this one where it was like jumping to get taller.
What do you?
It's like called like Masai jump. Fuck, I don't even remember, but it was really retarded. So I kind of just said to the one guy who's kind of pushing it, like, dude, like this is clearly cope. This is ridiculous, and you know it. And that kind of gave me a lot of clout, like exposed.
Call out stuff. Really? No way. That's popular? Call out stuff is popular? Oh, I wonder why. I mean, so I kind of hate this, but this aspect of social media in general, that like call out stuff absolutely is some of the most engagement positive stuff for like 3 reasons. 1, there's an intrigue element of information. 2, there's cross-reference like audiences, so you take your name and associate it with another name that maybe already has like searchability. And then the third one is like drama. It creates drama through the contention. And those 3 things like combined to make like the perfect algorithmic storm, and it has been, I feel like, my entire life on the internet, and I feel like it's one of the most problematic truths. Folks love drama, reality TV reigns supreme to this all day. Yeah. It's to me an unfortunate truth about like, if you want to grow online, I'd say probably the biggest cheat code is just try to start shit. Because if anyone bigger than you ever takes the bait, it's just free advertising. And then people are gonna glom on. Because, like, the truth is, you don't actually have to, like, I mean, I don't think a lot of people are surprised by this. You don't have to be really that interesting to be popular on the internet. You mostly just have to be lucky. Most people have like, anyone that's ever made a friend in their life, anyone who's made a singular friend in their entire life has the capability to be famous on the internet. Anyone. Because if you have the social capability to make a single friend, you just have to make it in front of enough people that would have at least a little bit of that same social proclivity that you've attracted before to create an audience. Like, that's literally all it would take for literally anyone on the planet. So the only 2 things that really matter for, like, getting famous on the internet is, 1, you actually put stuff on the internet, so actually doing it, and 2, luck. And the like call out system puts you in front of more people. That puts you in front of more people than anything else.
Posing gestures, I'd say.
So a jester is not just someone who's funny. It's somebody who what?
Well, it could be used in like a lot of contexts, but I mean, like, it is kind of gesturing a little bit because the methods
God, I'm so snotty.
are
I hate
like
it.
so ridiculous. You're like fucking, bouncing around, like trying to get taller. Like,
Is it consecutive jumping, like bunny hops for hours?
I honestly couldn't tell you the exact protocol for what people were doing back then, but I just know it had something to do with trying to apply Wolf's Law to like vertical height, and like that doesn't make any sense at all.
The first thing that caught my eye was the bone smashing.
Okay.
Because I
A
was
lot of
like
people are
worried about
interested
you.
about.
Because I saw some people responding saying like, "Oh, in time, one day you're gonna have like jaw issues." Do you think that's bullshit?
Yeah, because I don't even bone smash my jaw.
Oh, okay, my bad. How does it work?
Cheekbones. And it's just like, it's so silly that people want to talk about bone smash. I think it's just because it's like you hear it and it's so crazy, but that's not even really like one of the main things that I would, advocate for or promote.
I mean, that one is definitely more viral, is because it's so easy to make fun of.
Or that really give people the most results. It's one of the methods that I talk about, but It's just what gets brought up the most frequently in interviews. If you ask me seriously, I mean, what's the best way to look, Max? I would tell you about leanness. I wouldn't tell you about bone smashing.
Got you. So staying low weight.
Yeah, staying extremely low body fat.
And what are some of the easiest ways to do that besides just creating a caloric deficit?
Well, being in a GLP-1 will help you maintain that deficit a lot easier, right? Because it's going to deal with a lot of hunger signaling. So throughout the day.
Okay, so I'm going to say right now, the biggest cope ever. If we're going to use this terminology, the biggest cope ever is that leanness matters. Look, I'm pretty skinny. I've got a little teeny bit of weight on my belly where it's just like genetically I store some fat. But for the most part, I'm really skinny. Especially like in the face. I don't carry like any weight in my face, my arms, my legs, my back. So I stay pretty skinny all over with just a tiny bit of fat on like my belly. Just a tiny. I stay really skinny. No one cares. No one gives a shit that I'm skinny. You know what? No one cares when people have more weight. Except the boys. Being lean and jacked lean, that's straight gay stuff. And I don't mean it's like homosexual gay. I mean it's just like it's straight male attraction to other males. Other males are the only one. Other straight men are the only people that give a shit if you're lean. They'd be like, dude, you're so jacked, dude. Oh my god. You're so fucking hot. Oh my god. I wish I was straight and hot like you. Those are the only people that care. You might find some subsect of women that care. And like, women might find it hot. But in like a relationship standard thing, they are not looking for you being lean. Yeah, who doesn't love getting compliments from the bros? It's true. It's like ego stroking, but women don't care. They might women might get in on an initial attraction, or like kind of like looking at a hot celebrity. You might look afar and be like, "Oh man, they're so hot." But like relationship-wise, women don't care. If anything, a lot of women don't want to be with someone that is going to be like crack-ho skinny. They don't want a dude who's crack-ho skinny because they want to be able to eat ice cream. And they're going to feel guilty every single time they eat food around you if you're crack-ho skinny. They want to be able to have a snick snack sometimes without feeling guilty. Hi, Gabs. Okay, fine. Hi, Greg! Lily! 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 It's food time! She's just on the other side of the green screen staring at me like... God, I'm so snotty. Although that cold medicine is clearing my brain up good. You're right. You're right. Just because she's here, we have to, I don't even know how she does it. I just smacked it, and it didn't fall over. She's magical at it. Like, I, like, fucked it up a little, but... That was for you, Gabby. Further proof it's intentional. Yeah. It doesn't just come down on a whim. I could smack it, and it doesn't fall down.
When you're on a cut and trying to maintain your deficit, you're not just going to be constantly thinking about food. So that's really helpful.
What do you think about Ozempic?
That is a GLP-1 agonist. That's what we're talking about. It works by just agonizing the one receptor, unlike Reta and tirzepatide, which hit multiple receptors. So this just slows kind of your gastric emptying and like almost nauseates you in a way so that you are unable to eat through that. But Reta is a little bit more like, you know, meticulous, I guess you can call it.
So if I'm 202 right now and I want to be 185, what's the fastest way to get there in 30 days?
Well, the fastest way is to be eating as little food as possible.
Just straight up starve yourself.
Yeah, but I wouldn't recommend that you do that.
What do you think is the ideal caloric ingestion amount per day?
Like 300 to 500 calorie deficit. I don't really think going beyond that is advisable ever, especially if you're someone who's going through puberty. Like if you're restricting your micro and macronutrient intake during that critical developmental period, you're doing yourself a huge disservice.
You mentioned puberty in that developmental period.
That was too sane. That was a way too sane thing to say. That's like probably the most sane thing he said. Just like advising actually like kind of healthy weight loss patterns.
That's
Correct.
also like right around the time that you got into all these communities.
Right.
How was that?
Like, one, other than if you're a healthy body weight, like your body weight is not creating any health problems, outside of that, there's really no reason to lose weight. It is just personal preference and stuff. Unless losing weight's going to make you healthier, I don't think there's a reason to.
Experience for you? Because it's a strange experience as like a young dude to go from being basically like a kid to a little baby man.
Well, you have the most control over your body while all those growth pathways are still open, right? So
Yeah, his end goal with it is insane. And also the fact that he does cope. I've heard him talk about testosterone, and that shit's cope. He talked about that he's in a normal range, and he said his T-score's 900. The normal range is 4 to 6. 900 is literally 50% higher than the highest natural levels.
your growth plates remain unfused, so you can really do a lot with something like an aromatase inhibitor to prevent the
drug that blocks the activity in an enzyme called aromatase, which the body uses to make estrogen in the ovaries and other tissues. Blocking aromatase lowers the amount of estrogen made by the body, which may stop the growth of cancer cells that need estrogen to grow. Wait a minute, you're taking a cancer treatment drug to lower... No, this is fucked too. I could not advise this. Hormones are one of the scariest things to fuck with because we don't even 100% know the cascading effects of hormones because they're used in so many signalers in your body that it creates unknown cascade effects. yes, the male body has less estrogen than the female body when operating in a healthy state. You still fucking need it. You shouldn't have none. You shouldn't lower it if you have a healthy amount. Fuck.
This process, not prevent, slow it down as much as possible, because estrogen is actually what causes you to stop growing. That's why boys are taller than girls.
Yeah, outside of medical problems, tracking your T-score is pretty sus when you're in your 20s. Yeah, unless you're having, medical problems that would be related with testosterone, it is a little sus. And, like, kind of pointless, because you need so much more testosterone for it to make a difference that as long as you're in that range of 400 to 600, there's not going to be an appreciable performance difference between people that are at the low end versus people that are at the high end anyways. So unless you're taking enough to push yourself beyond the normal, healthy limit, it just doesn't matter. And then on top of that, unless you're well below the healthy limit that is creating health problems, it also doesn't matter. You're not going to have an appreciable difference. Hell, for example, Sky is getting jacked. He had testicular cancer and doesn't have a nut. He could be on medically prescribed testosterone right now. He's not. And he's still doing awesome. It's not impacting his ability to blow up at all. Now, yeah, you're going to blow up way faster if you're taking a shit ton of testosterone. But if you're operating just like at a margin below normal or operating at a margin above normal, it just doesn't make a fucking difference. It just doesn't. I also need to look this up. Does estrogen make you stop growing? Okay, the estrogen can influence the growth by causing growth plates and bones to fuse, which typically leads to cessation of height increase. Okay, so he's like half right. Again, he's half right, but this is only true in high doses of estrogen. This wouldn't be happening in a healthy male. Yeah, he's working at half capacity. He's doing great. Yeah, from what I'm reading right here, this is only true at high doses of estrogen, and this would not be true during any. This would not, like, the amount of estrogen produced in a normal male during puberty is not going to have any effect on this. And on top of that, the effect is marginal. The effect is marginal because there's tall women. There are still tall women. It might have an effect, but it is not an effect that is going to outdo genetics. Tall women do not have lower estrogen scores. This isn't true. This is just like, this is one of those, there's a microgram of truth to it, and there might be a level of correlation that does have a level of causation too, but it's like small percentages. You might eke out like not even an inch of height if this is what you're after.
Right. So we're blocking our testosterone from converting into estradiol, and that allows us to have that longer growth period. And you could combine that with other mechanisms like taking HGH, and you'll get a lot taller than you otherwise would.
That's just not true. That's just not. I know that one's not true. The period of time in which HGH can affect the body's growth is pretty limited, and it's even more limited for certain parts of the body. HGH will pretty much only affect your body growth in certain capacities while you're a fucking child inside the womb. Like, other than that, it's going to it'll swell muscle, but it's also going to swell your organs. Your looks are 90% genetics and 10% grooming, diet, and exercise. Yeah, like how you look overall. But I'd say like looks in your aesthetic appeal is going to be like 85% personality, 10% how you dress and groom yourself, and then like 5% is going to be like, do you like maybe like do you work out, like your weight distribution, but that's also tied to genetics. Like most of it is just going to be like, how do you present yourself?
Are you concerned about any adverse health effects?
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, if you go about like an HGH improperly, you could deal with, potentially, becoming diabetic, right? So if you're pinning GH and then spamming a shit ton of carbs, that's horrible for your blood glucose levels. Or if you're taking a huge amount of aromatase inhibitors, that could lead to ED, that could potentially be neurotoxic, give you mood swings. So yeah, you really need to be extremely well researched when doing this stuff. That's why I'm like very careful about when I talk about these kind of things, because I want to.
He didn't mention organ swelling. HGH literally makes your heart bigger. It makes your organs swell. It can increase the size of your brain, increasing cranial pressure.
Be as comprehensive as possible.
Yeah.
To not leave any nuance on the table and try to clarify as much as possible.
Right, because you don't want to mince words, then someone gets hurt or something.
Because
like
if
that.
someone asks you, how do I get taller? And you just tell them, take HGH and an aromatase inhibitor. They go out and do that, and then they don't know about, the thing about carbohydrates, and they don't know that they could have these issues with flatlining their E with their mood and their libido. They could really cause themselves a good amount of harm. You have to explain every single thing. You have to make sure the person truly knows what they're doing before they decide to indulge on any of these pharmaceuticals. So I would say, in a funny way.
Okay, so I've seen this guy is so body dysmorphic that he pushes it onto other people and seems to have a problem with when other people aren't willing to do things, but at the same time is saying don't do things if it's not safe. I don't understand how those seem to go against each other. Like that doesn't seem to mesh, that seems to clash.
Hey, like a lot more people will actually end up detrimenting themselves because people these days are lazy. They don't want to research, they don't want to actually do things properly, take the steps that are actually necessary to have success.
Yeah.
So it's really just about that.
I think people are scared to make friends now too. Screen time's at an all-time high. People aren't really going out. Community's kind of in collapse. Less people have real friends.
I don't know the relevance of that.
What do you mean?
What's the relevance of that? It's like
What's kind of what you were just talking about?
Not at all.
Wanting to ascend and finding your place in the world, SMV.
I was just
engaging
talking
with
about
the world.
pharmacology.
Oh yeah, but I'm kind of getting into your goal is to help people ascend, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, what's the value there? I mean,
And engaging with people in real life.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not that many people that are worth interacting with, I would say.
What do you mean?
Like, most people are extremely jester.
Like they're funny, or like they're just like
Just have completely misprioritized lives. I would say the average person that you meet who's like an enjoyer of sports, who drinks beer, for example, you know, let's go have a beer at the pub and watch Sunday football. Like, that's the worst thing that you could do. Like, you should be on PubMed reading various different studies on how you could look smacks.
you don't think there's
Oh, wait. Only recreation should be getting hotter. We should all be engaging in the space race to get hotness.
any value in like social interactions with people?
I wouldn't say people in general.
Here comes the
I'd say that
ego.
there's
Yeah.
certain people
Yeah.
that you could certainly learn from, but the average person that you encounter is literally like ladaring, watching
Lay down and rot. Okay.
like a baseball game.
So you think most of humanity is sort of like in
If you don't live like me, you're dumb. Okay. So, what things other than spending all your free time being hot is worthwhile? Like, if you have a job that creates things in society that, like, you use... So, like the people doing the medical research, do they have value? Like, the people that you're using to ascend? Do they have value? Should they be doing what they're doing? Should they then be using their free time afterwards to only ascend? So you're just saying, like, no matter what your job is in life, your free time your one and only hobby should be looks maxing and ascending. What? Dude, I just like the... Okay, so here's one. I'm bald as shit. Like, look at that. It's stretching all the way back here. You can see thinness. I think it looks better when I shave, but I'm also lazy as shit. Yeah, it is getting scary close to eugenic shit too, because like, are you telling me that that your face ratios and stuff are going to like be culturally the same? Because every person I've ever seen him do his like things on is white, is like a white guy. So like, are different ethnic groups, would they basically have to just look super white to fall under your like hotness scale? But yeah, like, I know hair shit is part of the looks maxing thing. And like, sure, I guess when I first started having my hair thinned, I was like, can I stop it somehow? And then I looked into, the stuff there, and I was like, nah, it's not that big of a deal to me. I don't really care. I'm fine with losing my hair. It's not really part of me. It's just a thing. And I'll look fine bald. So, I don't know. I think it's better to be okay with things. To, like, ride with the confidence there and just be like, I'm fine. Whatever, like, there are a bunch of hot bald people. There are a bunch of hot bald people that aren't even clean shaven. Doesn't have anything to do with like hotness. The value of a human is tied to what they look like, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, okay, yeah, I mean, not just the symmetry, but yeah, there's like your value is entirely tied to an aesthetic. And also you're stupid if you're not chasing aesthetics. I guess I'm stupid because I let myself go bald instead of taking, like, rubbing things into my scalp that can raise my blood pressure and taking pills, like prostate pills that can give me erectile dysfunction. I guess I should have been doing that because it's better to have high blood pressure and a limp dick than no hair.
slave to these consumer habits that prevent them from ascending.
Yeah, I would say that's correct.
And you think that certain stuff like sports, drugs, alcohol, all that stuff is like ways to keep people contained and like kind of prevent them from becoming their true elevated selves?
I would say that it's certainly misused, right? So like people will just drink alcohol for no reason at all. It seems like, let's go have a drink, when if you were actually smart, you would realize the purpose of alcohol is to lower your inhibitions to talk to girls. So that's the only time in which it makes sense to leverage such a toxic drug like ethanol.
Is the purpose of
That is the most autistic way to describe the purpose of alcohol of all time. It's not totally wrong, I guess. I guess that is the primary purpose that people use alcohol for, is to lower inhibitions to have more of a good time. But, like, you're telling me with all the looks maxing things you do, you haven't been able to confidence max? You haven't worked on confidence maxing at all? Because, buddy, it's kind of soy if you need alcohol to talk to women. That seems pretty soy. I'm certainly not going to go on a pro-alcohol train, but the obviously missing the whole social aspect. Yeah. Oh, and like, I'm definitely not going to go on a pro-alcohol train. I don't like mention this a lot, but I'm actually 10 years sober from alcohol. I have not had a single drop of alcohol in 10 years now. Like, not one drop. And I've been, at this point, weed sober. Not 100%. I've like every now and then at a few. So I won't say I'm 100% weed sober, because I've socially, like when I'm in at parties where people are drinking, I'll have like a little THC soda that I can sip on, like a low dose THC soda that I can sip on while everyone else is drinking. Not every time, but just sometimes too. But I've cut like I'd say 99% of my weed usage out too over the last 3 years now. 2 or 3 years, coming up on 3 years. So I'm pretty pro sober if you think it's causing a problem. Stuff like that is a balance. I don't think I'm ever going to have a problem with anyone, even though it's not healthy. It's definitely not healthy to use alcohol in any capacity, but we all also know that. We all also know it's not healthy. I don't have any problem with people enjoying themselves socially. Both my father and Haley and Haley's both died from alcohol abuse. I might have 10 drinks a year during social occasions. Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that. Yeah, it's not talked about a lot, but alcohol is the drug that kills the most people on the planet. It is. It kills the most people on the planet. You even more if you call, or if you include deaths associated with alcohol consumption, and not just literally from alcohol consumption, like drunk driving or other operational errors that cause accidents. I have no issue with people drinking, but like also I just think it's crazy to describe the only reason to drink, honestly, as to lower your inhibition so you can talk to women. In your looks maxing paradigm, if you're accepting that ethanol is damaging and does these bad things, and you're taking a trade-off to intake ethanol to lower your inhibitions so that you can talk to women, don't you think you could just eliminate that risk association in your own weird math? Substance abuse of almost any kind is deadly, but since alcohol is poison, you need a lot less to be fatal. Yeah. I mean, it's way easier. We're getting more information on this as weed is becoming more prevalent, but and this might have more to do with intaking, combustion fumes than actual anything to do with weed itself. But high blood pressure, heart problems, and lung problems seem to be just as prevalent in weed smoking, like combustion weed smoking, as cigarette weed smoking. The only difference is the carcinogenic nature. The only thing that's healthier than weed smoking over cigarettes is the carcinogen aspect. At least when you're combustion smoking. In a lot of new medical stuff. So, nothing, substance abuse of anything is harmful. And there's definitely healthier ways to intake some things. There's definitely less risks associated with edibles versus combustion smoking. Just because you're not breathing in burning smoke that's not supposed to be in your lungs. Your lungs just aren't designed for that shit, and it creates body problems. But then on top of that, heavy use of just THC in general, we've also now got some early medical stuff showing that it causes some problems. If you're predisposed to schizophrenia, using weed a lot increases the likelihood and the early onset of schizophrenia. And any other, schizophrenia, bipolarism or anything like that. That's one of the first things that we learned. It's also got a risk of, if you're a daily smoker or daily weed user, you run the risk of running into something called serotonin syndrome, which is seriously dangerous. There's also weird gut problems that are associated with heavy weed abuse, daily weed abuse, and heart conditions. I haven't found a study that separates types of consumption, so it's hard to know whether this is for combustion smoking or all weed consumption, but I have read studies showing that heart conditions seem to go up directly proportional to how frequently you use THC products. With an incredibly high increase in daily users, a pretty high increase in weekly users, and then almost almost no increase on monthly users. So it seems like the correct usage amount for weed is probably monthly if you're trying to minimize health risks. The correct use is monthly. And if you're using monthly or less, there's probably not a health risk. At least from anything I've read. But also, not a doctor. Not a doctor. Not a doctor. Not even an expert in reading medical stuff. I'm also kind of autistic and like to read stuff. And if I engage in something, in any kind of activity, and then I see science on it, I go, hey, I'd like to understand how that thing I'm doing affects me so that I can make informed decisions about it. Now, alcohol, I didn't read anything about how harmful alcohol is. I just knew alcohol was harmful, and I stopped alcohol because my alcohol consumption was becoming a problem with the productivity and progress of my life. It was becoming a quite literal, a physical obstacle to doing anything. And that's why I stopped. And then after I stopped for a little while, it just like coincidentally happened to be that like I hadn't drank in like a year. And I was like, shit, that was kind of easy actually. And I was like, what if I just kept doing it? And then I just kept doing it. And then I kept doing it. And then I kept doing it. And then before long, I was like, wow, it's been like 5 years and I haven't had any alcohol. I don't miss it. And I don't feel pressured to use it in social situations in any aspect. Which it was pretty cool. So I was just like, yeah, I'll just roll with it. Let it ride. And that's it. Like, that was it. The initial thing was just, it was a problem. It was getting in the way of everything I was doing, like school, work, everything. So I just stopped. And I guess, lucky me, I don't seem to have a problem quitting things. I'm a professional quitter, actually. It's really easy for me to quit shit. I don't know why. It's real lucky. It's real lucky for me. Anything I decide to stop, I've been able to stop like that. I'm so good at quitting. Honestly, to my detriment sometimes. I'm also good at quitting things that I shouldn't quit.
Looks maxing to raise your aesthetic value to also impress and talk to girls as well?
Yeah, but I don't like when people put too much focus on like getting girls as the reason that they looks max, because
What the fuck is sexual marketplace value? Yeah, that's true. I'm almost as good at quitting as I am at bitching. I am the bitch maxer. But no, we need to roll that back. What?
like ethanol.
Is the purpose of looks maxing to raise your aesthetic value to also impress and talk to girls as well?
Yeah, but I don't like when people put too much focus on like getting girls as the reason that they looks max, because chasing tail is.
What the fuck is your SMV then? What is the It was like the first thing you brought up was SMV. Are you trying to fuck the homies? Is Clav just closeted? Is he autistic and gay? Is he like autistic and closeted gay?
Really
or is this just manosphere like misogyny shit? I'm genuine. I want to know right here. What is this?
Gonna get you anywhere. Like, you could become the most successful slayer and have the best game ever, sleep with a different girl every night, but your life will really not change in a lot of regards.
You're called a slayer? A slayer? That is, and I do mean no offense. I do mean no offense to the gay homies, because I don't have a problem with anyone being gay. I think it's cool. But that sounds like some closeted shit right there. To call sleeping with women slaying. He's not look maxing for other people. He's trying to cure his own body dysmorphia. Yeah, I guess, but like, he also seems to like actually dislike women. And I can't tell if it's just misogyny or if it's like closeted gay misogyny. Because like, okay, we're going to bring this up. I gotta find this because it's so valid to this conversation right here. I'll probably find it on Reddit. Let's see. Milo. We're gonna bring up someone who isn't really, isn't really relevant, but. Okay, okay. Okay, yeah, I found it. I found it. So, to anyone who doesn't know, which definitely doesn't have any impact on how attractive the guys are to women at all. Yeah, it doesn't. So the way he talks about women is the way, if you don't know who this is, Milo Yiannopoulos is a failed conservative grifter who is a gay conservative comedian who fell out of relevancy for being just the most blasé grifter of all time. And recently, he has been trying to regain relevancy by saying that he prayed the gay away. And he dropped a thread. He dropped a thread on Threads, or a tweet or whatever. The Instagram version of Twitter. The Instagram version of Twitter. He dropped this on Twitter a little while ago, and it is the most poetically misogynistic thing to have ever left the mind of a man. And it comes from a place of genuine, like, homo misogyny from being so deeply closeted, or like trying to put himself back in the closet, that it's honestly beautiful. And the way Clav is comes off the same as this right here. I'm not saying I won't get there, but the vagina is an organ of cosmic horror. A sweet, pretty, slender young girl hides something Lovecraftian between her legs. Hot, hungry, oddly askew. In a world of seahorses and peacocks and delicate moths, our Lord gave her a viper's open jaws. Poetry. Misogynistic poetry. But that level of closeted is how Clav is coming off to me. It's this psychotic level of, like, it just makes me think he's unfortunately in the closet, and maybe he'd be a little happier. That, or he has some deep-seated women issues. And we really need to... I'm sorry, Logan. I'm sorry. Why would you share that with us? I spend too... Look. It hurts my ears. Yes. Yeah. It hurt my soul to read it. My jaw... When I read that, my jaw dropped. Because I was like... He just dropped misogynistic bars. It's so absurd. It's so absurd. The way hate is creative sometimes. The way hate is creative sometimes. I spend too much time on the internet too. I am way too enthralled on the internet. I'm just gonna say it. I spend nearly every moment that I am not working, doing chores, studying, or working out. Those are the only things that I do, basically, that are not me reading shit on the internet. He said the words cosmic horror and Lovecraftian, so yes, he said the words cosmic horror and Lovecraftian. So yes, that is exactly what he sees the vagina as. The final line was Viper's jaw. You, like... One of the only other clips I've seen of Clav is him saying that, like, when he has sex, he finishes as fast as possible and leaves. It's kind of like, and that's and I really don't know if it's a combination of like like repression, like self-repression, because you're like homophobic or something, or like, you know, you're closeted. But like Andrew Tate did this shit too, where he talked about like that he doesn't even like sleeping with women and stuff like that. Like, there's something about people in this manosphere where they feel like it's anti-man to enjoy fucking women. It's like a consistent thread that I see in weird manosphere incel types. It's like, it hurts your masculinity to be straight. Like, to be straight and like women is gay. But like, not, I'm using it in the dude bro-y sense of like how they fucking say it. I'm not meaning it pejoratively. Someone who's never tried to be attractive or change my image for women, somehow never had a problem in my love life, almost like it doesn't matter if you have the right aura. Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. It's 90% aura. It's 90% aura. It literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're hot, like I said, the only thing it might do is women from afar might go, oh, he's hot, and have like a slight thought of like, oh, they're hot. But they're not thinking about that in an attractive relationship way. They're also just thinking of it like, oh, damn, he kind of looks like a Greek statue or some shit. And society tells me that's hot, so I have a brief momentary thought of, oh, he's hot. I would describe him as hot. Meanwhile, dudes are like, God damn, I wish I was like him. Like, or at least dudes who have image problems. And, like, I guess, like, I can't say I have zero image problems. Otherwise, I wouldn't work out. But, like, but honestly, like, a bigger goal of working out for me is I feel better when I work out. It's less to do with image. Yeah, I feel better when I look a little stronger, but most of it is like, when I work out, my back doesn't hurt. When I work out, my knees don't hurt. When I work out, I don't have like a stiff neck. When I like move around and stretch, I just feel better. Whereas like if I don't work out for a while, I start feeling like crap. It's not that I'm like worried about like getting fat, because working out does not burn enough calories to keep you thin. It doesn't. You're not going to be thinner by working out for the most part. You might be marginally thinner but like being thin only comes from what you eat. It really does. Like, other that and passive movement. Like if you're ADHD and you're like, moving an arm or something, or tapping your leg all day, that will actually build up some calorie loss that might contribute to something. But like, if you intensely work out for a whole hour, you're gonna burn the calories of like half a cookie. It's nothing. You don't lose weight by working out. So even then, like seriously, me working out is less about aesthetics. Way less about aesthetics. I'd say the only aesthetic thing I've done recently is I think I would look better if I had like a little more roundness to my chest, so I've been trying to focus some chest exercises. But that's just like a personal preference thing. I want some bigger man tits. I want some bigger man tits. I want to have some jugs. So I've been focusing on chest when I work out a lot. But other than that, I just work out to be strong because it feels good. It feels good to be stronger. It feels good when I have to pick something heavy up at work to not strain. When I have to reload the milk machine. When I have to pick up the 40-pound milk bladder. It feels real good to be able to do that with one hand. To pick up the 40-pound milk bladder with one hand so I can reload it with one hand while I'm unloading it with the other. That makes that job so much easier, and I don't have to, like, worry about throwing my back out and shit because I can pick up a 40-pound milk bladder with one hand. Like, it feels good to be able to do that. It's convenient. And like I said, I don't have as many body pains when I work out. And that's just because it keeps your joints lubricated and shit. I'm not doing it to look max. I'm doing it to health max. Because if I have an ever-present autistic fear, it is the existential horror and inevitability of death that is always creeping and looming. The infinite darkness that preceded and posts us all.
Like, it'll get worse, like, and that sort of is something I experience is like it's a mega waste of time.
Just talking to girls, going out on dates and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean,
but carbs, those are good for fuel. Because, I mean, yeah, carbs keep some weight on you, but I guarantee you, if most of your weight comes from carbs, a lot of your weight's actually water. A lot of what you're holding is water. Because carbs, yeah, if you have an excess of calories, you'll put on some extra body fat, but you're gonna put on way more glycogen than you are body fat. And for like every 1 gram of glycogen that you put on 3 grams of water. So, and that's not necessarily bad. Like, glycogen is where your energy comes from. That's why, like, you're not going to bodybuild, get shredded if you're storing a bunch of glycogen, but you're going to have fucking energy to work out. So, eating a lot of carbs is really important for building strength. It's really important for maintaining activity. So, like, yeah, unless you're like, I do drink, like, yeah, exactly. You're going to be thirsty when you drink a lot of carbs too, and it keeps a healthy store of body water. And that body water weight is not unhealthy. It might, like, skew a scale, but unless you have health problems associated with weight, it probably means you don't have too much body fat. It probably means that a lot of the weight you're holding is actually water. Because you could store a shitload of water weight, especially if you have a carb heavy diet, and if those carbs come with salt, which salt, if you're salt sensitive, can be a problem, but if you're not salt sensitive, like if you're, again, everything is not a problem until it's a problem. If your pattern of consumption for almost anything isn't causing problems, then it's not a problem. If it's not or if it's not bringing you towards a problem. So, like, if you have a lot of salt, it's also going to increase your water retention. So if you have salt and carbs, you could have even more water stores. And again, that's not going to necessarily be a problem. Yeah, who eats carbs without salt? Exactly. Man, talking about carbs, I want some bread. I need some bread. I got some food in the oven now. We'll have some snackies here in a little while. But yeah, like essentially nothing is a problem until it's bringing you towards a problem. So for example, last year, I went to the doctor because I was having some rib pain. It was probably a workout injury. It eventually went away on its own. But, as a regular, I hadn't been to the doctor in a really long time. As a regular thing, they do the blood work. My cholesterol came back on the verge of being high. It was like exactly 100. Which is when it starts to be considered high. My total was still below the threshold, but my LDL was right at the threshold that is considered high. And that made me think about what I eat, because I was like, it shouldn't be that high in my mind, because I'm like active enough. I walk all the time. Like I get like 6 to 8 miles per day of walking in. I do work out. I eat a vegetarian diet, so have a lot of sources of fat and cholesterol. So I was like, what is causing this? So I started actually tracking what I ate, and then I realized, shit, I eat a lot of cheese. Because I really like fucking cheese. And like, I'm probably eating too much cheese. Because when and also, if you're having a problem with cholesterol, fuck, it's probably cheese if you eat cheese. Because like, 1 ounce of cheese nutrition. Once I started looking at this stuff, I realized how much fucking saturated fat, which is the type that affects cholesterol the most, how much of that is in cheese. 1 ounce. 1 ounce. Which is, to put in perspective, the size of an American single, basically. 1 ounce of cheese. I do have some gut health problems. My BP and cholesterol have stayed in normal range during my yearly. Yeah, I mean, gut health, depending on what it is, could probably be solved by just eating fruit. Because, like, especially blueberries. Because if you can just eat a bunch of blueberries, they're full of probiotics. Not just blueberries, eat a variety of fruit, because everything has different probiotics in it. But also, you're going to get fiber. You're going to get a pretty decent amount of fiber. And the only two things that ever have problems with gut health normally, again, not a doctor, you probably got specific recommendations, but fiber and probiotics are gonna definitely lean most people in a good direction. But yeah, my cholesterol, I haven't gotten another checkup. I need to probably schedule one soon. But I cut, I'd say 99% of cheese out of my life. Again, because I'm just good at quitting. I'm good at quitting things. Even though I love cheese. I have cheese occasionally, but now I treat cheese like dessert. It is not a with every meal thing. I'm susceptible to acid. I can get stomach ulcers easily if it goes unchecked. You know what? I think some of my rib pain was part of that, because I got prescribed an antacid. Like I forget what it was, like, not Ozempiral. That's the GLP one, isn't it? No, is it Ozempiral? Maybe. I can't remember the name, but I got prescribed some prescription antacid, and it works great. And it was probably that I was drinking too much coffee, which I've also pulled back on, because I don't even take that antacid every day now. I only take it when I feel like I have a problem. But it was also... That's the same one. Yeah, that's the same one I got prescribed, Logan. Omeprazole, yeah. I was like, I couldn't quite remember. But I got prescribed that. It helped a lot. Like, so well. It was a really good one, honestly. And I think I was just drinking too much fucking coffee. Because, like, I would just passively sip coffee all day at work, because I really like the taste of coffee. which I was looking into this, and if you like boiled coffee, it can also actually increase your cholesterol. There's a tannin that's in coffee that doesn't get filtered out when you have boiled coffee. And I was having French press and Turkish style coffee a lot. So I also could have been maybe increasing my cholesterol by consuming too much of this tannin on top of consuming a pretty decent amount of cheese. I don't know how my cholesterol is improved, but I would assume that my cholesterol is improved because I have cut down on coffee consumption. I have cut down on boiled coffee consumption 100%. I do not drink boiled styles of coffee anymore, now knowing that that they have a tannin in them that can increase cholesterol. And I treat cheese as a little treat to have with my dinner, not a, oh, of course I'm gonna have cheese with that type thing. Because yeah, if you have, I mean, your daily limit for saturated fat is 20 grams. I stopped coffee after having anxiety issues. Most caffeine I get from a soda, maybe once a week. You know, that's mostly me now. I'll drink like 1 or 2 of these most of the time, and then maybe at work in the morning I have a single cup of coffee. But I used to be pounding like 6 cups of coffee. And to be honest, here's the thing. I think I was over-consuming coffee because I was also over-consuming weed. Because once I stopped like smoking and eating weed all the time, like once I stopped taking a bunch of THC, I started sleeping way fucking better. Like my sleep got way better. And big surprise, I've read a bunch of studies that say that like consuming weed or THC close to bedtime, and close being like 6 hours before bedtime. When I worked at Starbucks, I definitely abused both espresso and weed. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, you'll just feel so extra groggy when you wake up, so you pound coffee just to feel alive. And then to bring yourself down when you get home from work, you then fucking hit the pipe hard, you hit a edible just to bring yourself down, but then it's just a cycle. You sleep like shit because you're full of caffeine, you sleep like shit because THC inhibits REM sleep, so it's hard for you to get to sleep because you have caffeine in your system, and while the weed might make you feel like you were brought down, it didn't actually bring you down. Your body's still operating on caffeine. So it's harder for you to fall asleep. And then when you do fall asleep because you got weed in your system, you don't get as much REM sleep. So you have less time for REM sleep, and the REM sleep you're getting is shorter. So it just equals shittier sleep. And it's a vicious cycle where you abuse one and then abuse I was doing that for years. And so I'll say, like, I almost accidentally started drinking less coffee. I think just because I stopped using as much weed. Like, straight up, I think because I didn't even make an active effort to drink less coffee. I did cut boiled coffee out entirely on purpose, but I just started drinking less coffee because I didn't feel like I needed as much coffee. I was like, when I woke up, I was more alert. I'd have 1 cup of coffee and feel like more buzzed. Whereas before, I'd have like 6 fucking cups of coffee. Connor always complains about his sleep quality. I never listen when I tell him smoking to get tired is what's hurting him. Yeah, it is. It might help you fall asleep, but the sleep you get is shittier. It's rough because, like, I tell Gabby that all the time too, because she says she needs smoke to fall asleep. I'm trying to make her take a easier break. I'm just like, try and just for a while cut it down to once a week, because, like, I think it's causing your sleep issues because she's been staying up real late every single night. And sometimes I stay up real late with her. But for me, most days I'm in bed by 11:30 to midnight. Which I consider fine. But Gabby will be up to like 2 to 4 a.m. every single night. Yeah. No, we 100%, like scientifically proven, crushes your REM sleep. I can't give you an exact figure on it, but it crushes your REM sleep. It does.
I mean, I do content, so it's like, it's one thing where, but like, I was talking about this on my stream the other day. Say you were to do like a bowling date with a girl and you weren't streaming it, like, that's just the most ridiculous.
What about like connecting with her because like you like her or something like that? You know, like maybe you want to start a family.
But where's the ROI in that?
What's that?
Like, where's the ROI?
Sorry, what's ROI?
Return on investment.
I mean, maybe you have kids and you can mold your kid into like a Tiger Woods type, like little golf player or something, and then he could provide for you. So when you get old, you don't gotta go to a nursing home, and he can like make sure you're taken care of.
Just leech off your kid, like those,
like you want when
those
you're
people who put the kids on the TikTok live, like.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just comical.
So the main goal of looks maxing is not.
Well, obviously, I think Andrew doesn't believe that. It was just you asked what's the ROI on having a relationship and a family. So Andrew tried to give you a weird autistic answer for your weird autistic framing. The ROI is happiness and fulfillment. The ROI is experience. And not all of us want the same experiences. And that's fine. But at the very least, the vast majority of people need a relationship for fulfillment because humans are innately social. There's something I think warped about modernity that it has people losing the will to have kids. Like, I don't have that will. I don't have that desire for fulfillment through that aspect, but plenty of people still do. And I'm not going to harsh on anyone's parade for that. I think it is beautiful that people can have that fulfillment. I'm super happy for everyone that can. Just because I don't have it doesn't mean I don't want other people to have that, like, happiness. And it's not that I don't understand it either. I do understand it. It's just not something that... It's something I can, like, empathize with. It's not something I can sympathize with, though. So, it's super weird that you can't even, like, dig down and be like, I understand why people want a relationship and family as a ROI. That's crazy.
Not to get girls, it's to feel good about yourself.
No, it's just to be successful in general. It's not about feeling good. It's about real results. And this is a completely objective thing.
What is
this
success?
Isn't my opinion.
Is it only money?
It has just been a subjective thing. It's very, very well researched that in interviews, there's a huge bias towards good-looking people. In dating, obviously, a huge bias towards good-looking people. So, objectively, you could hate me as a content creator, but realize like the value in what I'm talking about.
So the goal, when you say success, you mean like mostly financial and economic?
Well, really anything. It's hard for me to think of something where looks wouldn't benefit you.
I mean, in your industry, you're a content creator, you're streaming all the time. You think that if you were not physically good looking, you wouldn't have as much success?
No, I wouldn't at all.
Even if you were like a genius, like Beethoven level creative, but you were busted, you don't think you'd pop off?
Well, that's the thing. So now you have to be so well off in another category to compensate for your lack of looks that you have to be a Beethoven level player in order to compete with a guy who's, just like, mogging and going to the club, so that's...
Okay, that's also not true. That's just plainly not true. You know who I'm going to say is the biggest example of someone who is not good at literally anything but has huge success that's popped off and is literally not good at anything at all? This fucking guy. I see this guy on the internet all the time. XQC? I don't know really. Like, I know he's Canadian. He's not good at video games. He does not have any life skills. You can't even understand what he's saying. He's funny by accident. Like, he's not a comedian. He's not funny. He just sounds like a goblin. Like, no attack or hate on him. I'm sure you're a fine guy, XQC. I don't really know anything about you. And, like, other than I just see you're a funny talking guy who is very successful and very rich at this point.
Stand a little further away from it. Further away? Perfect. Yep. Same thing.
Oh.
See, I hit the top though. You're doing the hips and the shoulder turn. Like, I'm really.
Yeah, but see, because I think initially that's why I wanted him to hit. I wanted him to do it
initially?
And try to.
And try to. Is unintelligible. Unintelligible. It seems like the entire reason he got popular is that no one can understand what he says. I kid, but like he's not super hot. He's fine looking. Like I don't think he's ugly, but it's not like he's a guy who's super hot. He's not jacked. He's skinny as heck. Like he's rail thin, honestly. He wasn't rich when he started. He doesn't have any appreciable like standout skills. He's not really good at anything. But he's fucking super famous. I think he's like one of the most successful streamers of all time. I could be wrong. I don't know a whole lot about him. I only tangentially like see him float into my periphery because I spend a lot of time on the internet and it's impossible not to see some of these people. But like your statement is bullshit that you have to be like either super hot, you either have to look max, or you have to be one of the world's best at something. No! You could just be a weird little blonde goblin. That's it! That's all it takes, is luck, being there, and that's it. You can be a weird little goblin who's not really good at anything and then become one of the most successful streamers of all time. No hate towards XQC. I don't have any opinions about him. Like, honestly, I don't really know anything. I'm just saying he's a guy who does not inherit through any type of standout expression of anything deserve the position in that way that he's been afforded. So it's just not true. I'm not saying I want him not to be successful. I'm fine with people being successful randomly, actually. Maybe he's shitty and maybe he shouldn't be successful. I don't actually know anything about him. Again, like, I'm just using him as an example of a guy who I've never seen him have any standout expressions of ability that would show that he either needed to be hot or he needed to be one of the best in the world at something. Because he's neither of those things, and he's insanely successful nonetheless.
Why it really gives people a huge advantage in life to have looks on their side.
Yeah, I think it's definitely true. But you don't think there's any value in like having a girlfriend that you like or an in-person community to like meet your essential needs and find belonging?
Well, I'm just a little bit like weird. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to enjoy some of the same activities that normal people do, but it doesn't really matter because that's just
I'm not like other
my
girls.
Personal anecdote. They're not mutually exclusive.
Right. Growing up, what did you enjoy doing the most before all this stuff?
I mean, I would just mostly like Ladar on my PC. Like I was reading.
What kind of stuff were you reading?
I was reading different forum posts, different studies, just whatever research you can think of.
About looks maxing and developing your aesthetic?
Looks maxing, bodybuilding, all that kind of stuff.
Were you unhappy with how you looked at the time?
Yeah, of course.
What were some of the things that you immediately wanted to improve right off the bat?
My muscle mass was probably one of the bigger ones. I didn't really have much of a presence. I was quite skinny, so I was like a little...
Okay, like, if if you're unhappy with your like physique in that way, I think there's no problem in working out to a certain degree. I feel like you should probably get help with body dysmorphia on top of that. I'm never going to discourage people from working out because I think it's healthy for everyone. But also, like, I'd say certain things to anyone that is maybe concerned about things like acne and other weirdness when you're like a teenage boy. I had very bad acne when I was like middle school aged. I had really bad acne. I would get back knee, shoulder acne, face acne, like zits all over. That's just hormones. That's just puberty. You like, some people have it extra bad and you might need like a doctor. You could see a doctor and they might prescribe you something that can help if you have like something particularly like outside the norm. But I'd say for the vast majority of people, your hormones are gonna stable out once you get out of puberty, and you're just gonna be fine. I never used any face creams. I never did anything, and I have unjustifiably clear skin, honestly now. Like, I never get acne. I don't do, like, I don't do a good job of washing my face. I don't do anything. And my skin's fine. I use sunscreen when I go outside. I always put on sunscreen because I'm really white and I walk everywhere, so I'm afraid of skin cancer. Because, again, I mostly am worried about things that have to do with longevity. And so that helps. Like, my skin doesn't age as much because I'm protected from UV all the time. But, like, seriously, I don't do anything to stop acne. And I get, like, one stray zit every few months from, like, a hair follicle that gets fucking, like, jammed up every now and then. It's gonna be fine for most people. And even if it's not, there's medication out there that works for acne and stuff. I would not be worried about acne. I would chill about it. Just like, it's rough, especially because you can remember a time before your acne. But no, there's also going to be a time after your acne. Don't worry about that part of things too much.
A bit lanky because I grew pretty early, so I was a lanklet, yeah.
Do you think that affected your social life?
Yeah, I'd say so.
In what way?
Well,
another thing I'd say, poor guy is definitely just kind of like a little autistic and weird. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm autistic and weird too. A lot of us are. Way more of us than I think even realize. Projecting that maybe you're having social problems because you're ugly or not hot, instead of that you're not putting yourself out there, is the wrong correlation to causation. Like, if you're a recluse, obviously you're going to have social problems. And I can't, it's very simple for me to just go talk to people, Papega. Of course, social anxiety is more complicated than that. But most people have quite a bit of social anxiety. Like, crippling social anxiety. I'm lucky in a way that my kind of autism is more towards the, like, Asperger's end of I'm like almost woefully unconcerned with the social consequences of my behavior. Which can also just read as undue confidence, which can produce a little bit of aura. It's just how it is. Not that it also doesn't make me seem fucking weird. because I'm fucking weird. I am, and I always have been. But that's also homeschool energy. I still resonate with some homeschool energy, even like, 17, 18 years later. But what was I even fucking talking about? I've lost the plot. Social anxiety. But like, for example, I'd say like it's hard for people that are like totally like not on a spectrum either. Like, there's this totally normal guy in my college, like everyone, when at least I think it's standard everywhere for US colleges that a required class is public speaking. There was this guy in my public speaking college class that chose to fail the class. Chose to fail a college class that cost like $580 just for that class like slot, plus your tuition and shit on top of it, and would like go on your record and could damage you getting scholarships and shit. He chose to fail that class due to social anxiety instead of giving one public speech in front of a small class of maybe 20 students in a class that is only about public speaking. That's the strength of social anxiety. So I understand that it's something that you can't just get over. I've seen, like, firsthand that it is something that is crippling to people. So I can like put myself in the shoes. I can maintain a level of empathy where I can put myself in the shoes where it's like, how crippling must that like anxiety be that it stops me from even talking in front of like 19 other people. They're all there doing the same thing. And face, like, real physical negative consequences because of it. Like, that's powerful. Like, that's definitely powerful. And if people who are, like, totally, normal and adjusted have problems like that, because that would, like, a lot of people. He was not even the only one. He was just the first one that failed because of it. There were like 3 people in that class that chose to fail the class instead of just talk in front of people. And then there were other people that just, like, they tried and they just had huge problems, like clamming up and stuff. So, like, it's something that, especially when you're put in a situation where it's forced upon people, it's really easy to see social anxiety on display and to, like, empathize with that. I don't really know the solution, but to a degree, I think just, like, taking an uncomfortable plunge, like, just trying to force yourself into it, is kind of something you have to do. On the other end, it's a little bit on, I think it's a little bit on parents to like do something for kids early that will build some baseline for like some confidence and to reduce social anxiety. There's a lot of things like, camps, clubs, I'd say martial arts. A lot of those things can help alleviate that. Anything that's team-centered, like anything that puts people in a group is team-centered, forces some social cohesion, I think is something that helps break that ice for kids. So, like, I'd say, unfortunately, that's not something that, like, most people can just do, but it's something that, like, if you have that background, I think it's more likely that you have the roots to be able to dig on to break social anxiety. But if you don't have that, it is going to be harder. Like, while to a degree I have some undue level of lack of social anxiety when it comes to social interaction, I do remember a time when I had a little bit of it when I was very young. And I broke it because I did kendo. And one of the things was like it not necessarily social anxiety, but I had anxiety about being loud because I would get in trouble if I was loud. And my instructor when I did kendo would not let you move up to the next level in kendo if you did not vocalize when doing your swings. Because there's certain swings. Like the very basic one is your forward strike, you go, men! And you had to really project that out there. And I was going like, when I first did, I was going like, men, men, men. He was like, no, scream it. Say it as loud as you can. And he wouldn't let me move up until I did. And here's the thing. This made me really mad. Sky moved up before me because he was willing to shout. And that made me fucking mad that he moved up faster than me. And that's like the only thing that got me to break that level of like anxiety. But then once I broke it, and there was like a positive feedback loop for breaking through some anxiety, it creates like a replicatable baseline that even if it's not the same anxiety, that you can use to break through other anxieties. And not all anxieties are created equal, and you might have, and everyone has their own personal biases towards anxieties. Like we are all more anxious about different things in our lives, but having the ability to break through any anxiety in your life creates a baseline like emotional pattern that you can reach for when smashing through any anxiety. So it's not that I have like literally no, like I'm incapable of social. It's not like I actually have Asperger's or something. I just use that analogously. It's just that like it's a low level for me, and it always has been. And I have a multitude of life experiences where I have had to break through different anxieties that like smashing through something that's already, for whatever grown reason, isn't that high for me. Like I already don't have a very high level of social anxiety, so it's really easy, even if I'm doing something that would spike social anxiety, for me to go, no, because I have a lot of baselines for squashing anxieties. So it's really easy for me to squash a small anxiety when I've squashed bigger anxieties, if that makes sense.
Obviously, people are going to be more drawn to you if you're good looking, and I would say that, you know, growing up, especially during puberty, early into high school, I really wasn't. So it is what it is.
So you feel like you had a harder time making friends?
Oh,
Yeah,
got that Wi-Fi. Thank you for subscribing
sort of
an
my
hour
brain
and 20
chemistry
minutes
and,
ago.
like a lot of
I missed that.
maybe differences and activities I enjoy more so than looks. You know, so I'd definitely attribute it to that.
Did you experience any kind of like social anxiety during that time?
Yeah, I still do. Yeah, I get pretty anxious.
Just meeting new people?
It really just depends on the scenario. I would say that meeting new people who have like a higher status is usually something that I get a little bit anxious about, because you don't want to like, you know, blow it or whatever.
Make a bad impression.
Yeah, but like if I'm just going to a club, for example, like my impression doesn't really matter that much, because a lot of the time it's just like random people in college.
Did you find that engaging with people online as opposed to in real life helped kind of ease some of that social anxiety because you didn't have to deal with so much like in-person immediacy?
Yeah, like Discord maxing was probably
Goddamn,
one
I'm
of
too
the-
good at yapping. I'm
the
only
better things to
22
do
minutes in
because
and we're
you
2
could actually
hours
find
into
like
stream.
people who have the same interests as you, and you're never going to encounter people with the same niche interests like looks maxing like you will on internet forums.
Did you ever actually meet up with any people from the forums in real life?
Yeah, actually 2 people in this house I met through looksmax.org.
And that word is like an old 4chan word, right? Like maxing and like sell, like as an abbreviate.
It's on 4chan, but it didn't originate from them.
Do you know where the actual word first came from?
Like PSL websites.
The umbrella term PSL refers to the 3 most popular message boards in the incel sphere: PUA or pickupartisthate.com, hate.com, and lookism.net. On these 3 sites,
God damn, it is all just misogyny. What?
a shared ranking scale was developed called the PSL scale, which
Sorry, wait. What is that
.net.
chart?
On these 3 sites,
Low tier bottom 50%, failed normie bottom 3%, mid tier 50th to 15th percentile, high tier top 15%. So what this right here is considered top 15% of the bottom 3%. Low tier normies 97th to 50th percentile. So this is 47% of people. This is the bottom end of, I guess, what would be called normies or normal, the most normal. No, because okay, how can mid tier be a smaller bracket? This is only 35%. While low tier normies encompass 47%. Aren't these guys math guys? This would, if you're fucking putting this on a bell curve, this is the peak of the fucking bell curve, guys. This can't be the low tier. This is the middle. This is the fucking middle. So this is top 15% of middle. These mid-tier normie 50. You're putting Ryan Gosling in mid-tier 50th to 15th percentile of the mid-tiers. Okay, what is this rating system then? This is so weird. So these 3 guys are hotter than these 3 guys? Look, personal preference here. No. No. They're not. Especially not like these 2 guys. They're too twinkish. Wait, this shit is gay. They like them because they're twinks. They're all just closeted gay. Come on, just get out of the closet. Be normal. See the sun. You'll be happier. You're just into twinks. These guys look more like the more prototypical masculine to me. These are people that I as a straight man would consider hot. But then you've got fucking like twinks, and then Chad Light. Clav is in the Chad Light. These guys just look like twinks with plastic surgery. So these are just plastic surgery twinks. And then the Chads are... I actually don't know, because these guys, with the exception of someone who is actually a Chad, I can't remember his name, but let's, I guess, shrink me so we could see the list. Yeah, with the exception of Superman guy here, who is actually a gorgeous Chad. These 2 guys on either end look exactly the same as these guys. They're just twinks with plastic surgery. Maybe twinks that are also a little muscular. Like, these are just skinny twinks, or these 6 people are just skinny twinks, and these guys, or like these 2 are jacked twinks.
a shared ranking scale was developed called the
Henry Cavill. Thank you, Logan. Yeah. I just my mind is blown by this list because it has me more convinced that this is about being closeted. Because like if these people are the high tier and they're all just twinks, they're just twinks. And then these guys are mid tier, which are to me look like chiseled masculine dudes. And I know these two guys are jacked. Assure.
PSL scale, which ranks men from Terachad and GigaChad.
PSL scare. What the fuck is this? True normie. Derived from 3 incel forums, but what? So 2 of the 3 are literally just misogyny. 2 of the 3 forums that this has come from is just pickupartist.com and slut hate. What the fuck? We're diving into some deep misogyny.
All the way down to subhuman.
It's just 3 forums, like the names of 3 old forums.
One of them is pickup artist hate, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't like pickup artists?
It's not really that I don't like pickup artists. It's just I don't like the fact that they don't give you the key piece of nuance that if you learn all this game and do cold approaching, but you're not good looking, it's not going to work. So there are certain like psychological tactics that you can utilize to be better at approaching women, conversational tactics, whatever the case may be, but they're going to have different success rates based on...
I gotta be real. Anyone that's ever had success with pickup artist shit, alls you're doing is instituting like a flight, fight, or freeze response in women who already are in a precarious situation with confrontational social interactions with men, and you are just picking on the people that hit the freeze response. That's it. If you have engaged in pickup artistry, all you were doing is essentially terrifying some women into a freeze response. Because that's it. You're going to have people either be aggro towards you in response to your pickup artistry. Yeah. No, women go to very specific venues to be approached. Only approach them at those venues. Or have a normal conversation with a woman who has a shared interest at a venue which is social. But also, do not do it with the express purpose of trying to pick them up. Just don't be weird and shun social interaction. And by that I mean book club, a game store, a card gathering, a class, anything which would gather people in a social interaction. You are allowed to have a regular human interaction with that woman. And then if chemistry forms, but do not approach women with the express purpose of picking them up unless you are in a venue in which they have joined that venue for that express purpose. And those venues are rare, and many of them are ineffectual. One of those venues would be like Tinder. That is a venue which also still, don't be fucking weird! Because even then, men are still weird. I'm gonna pull my food out of the oven. Women can tell almost any time a guy is trying to just pick them up. That's not how normal relationships are cultivated. Yeah, exactly. Now, women will go out for a booty call. Not saying women are not also out to do that sometimes. But again, there are socially like cultivated situations for that. And honestly, if you want to do that, that's on you to learn when, where, and how to engage in such activities. But also, if you think that is a relationship, if you think that is the way you start relationships, I can maybe understand why you're a little socially fucked in your interactions with women if you expect the booty call situations to be how relationships start, which a relationship could start that way. It's not likely to start that way.
Different looks levels.
So you think that even if someone had every word of the Neil Strauss book, The Game, memorized, and they were like super busted, they could approach a Stacy and get totally
Ladard, like brutalized almost. Like women are brutal as fuck these days with rejecting people, I think is one thing that I don't really like. Sometimes a dude will, in a bar, literally just like go up and call a girl pretty, like no creepiness to it, no like overly like touchy or whatever, and like she'll start like screaming like just to embarrass the dude and like brutalize him.
What do you think causes that impulse?
Well, I mean, I think it's just that they feel disrespected that someone that lower in percentiles
Got you.
feels that they could.
Oh my god, he actually has... Has no woman in his life ever talked to him about how women interpret their lived situations? Like I said, if you're engaging in pickup artistry, or are even just approaching women in a really weird way, you are instigating a flight, fight, or freeze response. And if you are fucking getting what you are interpreting as a positive outcome, you're just hitting a freeze response where they're too afraid to do anything. Because women, unfortunately, have to live in a world where social interaction with men always has the underpinned threat of violence. Always. That's the world we live in. And once you understand that, when you empathize with that, it can allow you to fucking approach women in a way that's not going to terrify them.
Somehow enter like a relationship with them. It's sensible to a degree. You know, how could you actually think that this approach would work out? But I don't really think that there's a reason for them to like just go out of the way to like be brutal.
On an underlying level, what do you think's causing that just like hostility? Do you think it's like the way culture has shifted?
It's not really like...
It's the same dudes who have no idea why the woman chooses the bear. You know? When I heard that one, I was like, I thought about it. I thought about it for a couple minutes. I was like, here's what I did. I thought about it for a couple minutes. I was like, how many bear attacks have there been in the last 100 years? So I Googled it. There's been like fucking 11 in 100 years. I'd choose the bear too. Meanwhile, how many men murder people? How many men rape people? Not even talking women, just people in general. If we're talking about the odds of whether you're going to be attacked by a bear just because you're in proximity to it, or whether you're going to be attacked by a man just because you're in proximity to it, the odds are technically low on both. Like, they're technically low on both, if you're talking about total population numbers, but the bear is infinitesimally smaller odds. Like, infinitesimally smaller. It's, if you can't get that through your head, I don't really even know. I don't even really know. It took, like, just a couple seconds. Not even empathizing with women, but literally just going, me, myself, as a man, what would be safer?
Hostile a lot of the times. I think they just kind of also think it's like funny because they'll post it on like social media after.
Of like dudes hitting on them to like embarrass them, basically.
Yeah.
What did you think about the whole Nautica Malone situation?
What is that?
That was the Goonicide. You know, the guy at the Bikini Beans in Tempe, Arizona, who went through and he had like supposedly no pants on, and they posted a video of him and he took his own life the next day. You familiar with that story?
I'm not, no. You're gonna have to fill me in.
We just made a documentary about a vigil they did for him. Here's a preview of that upcoming documentary.
Good. Have you been here before?
Yeah.
Sir, you need to leave. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Police say a man took his own life after getting caught committing a sex crime in the drive-thru of a coffee shop.
Say his name! Nautica! Say his name!
Nautica's death is bigger than 9/11.
This was a recurring incident that all the girls were aware of.
You killed that man. Nautica was a gooner.
He's left behind by his wife and
Life is too crazy. Life is too crazy. What the fuck?
2 kids. Do you think they consider him a goon lord?
I think they view him as a loving father that did a radical thing.
I want to be just like my father. He was a gooner himself.
You know he did it in that parking spot.
No shit. That's messed up.
I analyzed that video over 1,000 times. That man had pants on.
Have you ever exposed yourself in a drive-thru?
No, but I probably will in my future.
You killed that man! You killed that man!
Acting like it's
God
a
damn.
joke is damaging for everyone involved.
The spirit of the gooner is really all around us.
Guy was being creepy and couldn't handle the consequences of being called out. Yeah, I think he thought what he was doing was never going to get caught. And then the jerk reaction response of being caught was so intense, he couldn't foresee a way out. So he, took the only way out he could foresee. I more mean that shit's crazy because, like, the situation altogether is just crazy. Like, what the fuck? I don't think it's a problem for those people to call him out at all, but it's wild that what he did. And that it's even more wild that people are rallying behind him.
If you'd like to see the uncensored, extended, and exclusive cut of the Gooniversary, head to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/channel5. It costs $5 a month to sign up, but your subscriptions help keep the lights on, and there's a ton of stuff on there that you simply cannot see elsewhere. I'll put the link in the pinned comment and description box of this video. Alright, back to Clav.
Okay, well, like he was fully naked with his
No. He has a shirt on.
But his phallus, let's just say, is showing to the workers.
According to the workers, there was phallus. According to Nautica Malone supporters, he had very short shorts on.
I honestly believe that the workers in that case, I don't really think that anyone should take their own lives, but there's a clear difference there between showing your genitalia and being
It's definitely a bad example, and I think even Clav's not cooked enough, as you can see. Even Clav is not cooked enough to think that's women being brutal, as he's defending the women. That's such a crazy situation that him defending the women in this, all of a sudden he seems like a feminist. Just because that shit is so fucking... Yeah, that shit is so deranged and wild.
Clothed, even if it's promiscuous, even if it's degenerate, and I could call that out too, but like that's just straight up a sexual harassment to just like go somewhere with your genitalia out. So I'm not...
Oh my god, he's savable. We could save him. Maybe that's why he's so interesting. Because he's like cooked, but he's not so cooked that you can't pull him out of the fryer. Like, he's not well done yet. He's just getting a little crispy. But he could still be pulled out. He's still savable. Like, that's normal. That's a normal response to that.
Gonna obviously side with that one.
So you think it's a little bit fried that people are showing up to do a vigil for his passing?
I would say so. I think that they're certainly right that there is a lot of scenarios like in the gym when we'd see girls like record their sets and like a guy would like look for a second and then they would like try to ruin their lives.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you need something? Do you need something? Okay, I thought so.
Like, yeah, that is horrible, right? So that shouldn't occur, but like someone pulling up to a restaurant naked, it's like, that just kind of ruins.
That's also not a good example in the other way. People doing the gym thing, that's not women destroying people. That's people clickbaiting for views because we live in a capitalist hellscape where you can drama bait for money. And we all need money. And we all need money to the point where some of us might do things that we find distasteful for money if we think it's going to be enough versus the distaste, B, easy, and C, how badly we need that money.
All the optics of everything if you're gonna like make this part of like the argument, you know what I'm saying?
So back to rejection in general, there's something they call the Gen Z sex recession. It's alcohol recession too. Sounds like you might think it's kind of a good thing, but right now there's less people ever, like in the past 50 years, that are going out.
Why would I think that's a good thing?
Because you mentioned that alcohol is like a slop of the masses and that dating is a waste of time.
Well, no, I just said the exposure should be limited, right? So like if you're someone who just like has a drink before going to bed or has a drink when they go out to lunch with their buddies, it's like, okay, you are just causing, you know, oxidative stress to your body for literally no reason. Because the way that I think about it is, you know, being super results driven, right? So like actually being able to talk to girls, potentially like, you know, get a girl to go home with you, like that's an example of, okay, maybe the oxidative stress could be justified because you got the success of, you know, slaying a girl, for example. You know, that's kind of like
It's always capitalism. Everything you're experiencing. He's even using the word sexual marketplace value. How can you say it's not capitalism? His entire mindset's core starts at the cultural structure that is forced upon us in viewing everything from a capitalistic mindset of our ethics being framed through the scope of capitalism. It's ingrained in us intentionally from like elementary school forward. Everything is framed through an ethical and value perspective of a capitalist worldview. So yeah, his entire ethos that he's framing everything under started at capitalism. Also, I will always. Typical, it's all capitalism's fault, Loki. It's true. It is. It's always capitalism somehow. Almost always, it can be capitalism's fault. And if it's not capitalism's fault, it's colonialism, which was just the preform of capitalism. Or is also just capitalism. Like, colonialism is just another arm of capitalism.
Meaningless pursuit, and that's a whole nother huge philosophical argument, but just for the purpose of this interview, that would be like one example where it kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
But I don't really think that people should be drinking and doing drugs recreationally for the most part. And I know that would appear super hypocritical because I do it a good amount. It's just something that I utilize for my work, for my content, because I can't really like function around people too well or be super entertaining in my sober state.
What drugs do you find help you the most?
Pregabalin, stimulants, I'd say.
Yeah, so just drugs that keep you up, basically. Make it easier to talk to people and do your job.
Pregabalin's a little different. It blocks certain neurotransmitters that are excitatory, right? So your glutamate, and that causes social anxiety, right? By blocking that neurotransmitter while the drug's half-life is active, now you're like in a low inhibition state for, you know, the 6 to 8 hours.
You don't got to talk about this if you don't want, but have you ever used like methamphetamine?
Yeah, no, I've used methamphetamine. Do you know what Adderall is?
Pretty close chemically to meth.
Right, yeah, so it's dexamphetamine. I was just taking dextromethamphetamine.
You think meth kind of gets a bad rap?
Shit, you got pepper sprayed today, Sky? How'd that happen? Were you at No Kings? Or were you at the No Kings rallies? And the cops started pepper spraying people? Yeah, I'd immediately assume it's a cop. Yeah, I'd assume since No Kings was today, you were at a No Kings rally. And you got pepper sprayed there. That's immediately where I'd assume that shit happened. I had the audacity to pull a 70-year-old woman the cops were violently assaulting away from them. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That sounds like pig behavior. Hell, if they were ice, they would have shot you in the face. And then the body 20 times. Because that's like basically exactly what they killed Alex Preddy for. Was just doing that. Fucking pig fuckers. Talking about something else that's capitalism's fault. Our policing system. Which does not exist to protect or enforce order of law. But exists only to protect and punish those who threaten the orderly operation of our capitalist architecture. Saying there was a Grizzlies game, you need to leave. Were you in the Grizzlies stadium? Also, goddamn, I didn't even know this was coming up, but what I just said, they exist to protect and, like, propagate the continuation of the capitalist architecture. They're enforcing violence on people who we were next to on the street. Jesus Christ, yeah. So, because you're in the proximity to a capitalist event, like a capitalist money-creating event, you have to be brutalized. You have to be brutalized. That is the function of the police. It is. Fucking awesome. Our police structure is so fucking useless. Memphis stood on business, though. I was actually super impressed. Pearson stood with us and told them police we wouldn't leave until they released their hostage too. He earned my vote for the 9th district. Pearson's the GOAT. He deserves that rep seat he's running for. I agree. The honestly, the Tennessee, every one of the Tennessee Dems we have, like state Dems, they're so goddamn good. Like every single one of them are so. Steve Cohen. I actually don't know Steve Cohen off the top of my head. They actually let everyone go too, except 2 people had already been processed. Wow, that's pretty good. We just mobbed the fuck out of him. Cohen is a super incumbent. Steve Cohen is a 76-year-old Jewish man. Yep, I found his Wikipedia. Oh, wait, no, yeah, I saw a clip of this guy recently. Is he the same guy who was mocking protesters through the window? Like ICE protesters through the window by, like pouring, or like by, dropping ice cubes in a cup or something? Like he's super clever. We had to, yell at them for like 2 hours, but yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Police might be the pig fucker force arm of our capitalist structure, but there's not very many of them. And it takes a incredibly small, proportionally, group of people to outnumber them and make them back the fuck off. I think it should be more standard that protesters do not let cops arrest people. You should always mob, like, as a large group, and take people they're trying to arrest away from them. Always. That's just my opinion. You should never let them, like, protesters should never let protesters get arrested, because it doesn't need to happen. There's no power they have as long as there's enough of you. And it's ridiculous that I think people even allow that to happen at some of these protests. So super good on y'all. Oh, there were hundreds of surrounding them yelling shame. Yeah. Because they're just being like pathetic fucking losers. Yeah, they should never be allowed to arrest people at these protests. I don't just mean like morally or legally, like physically the protesters should never let it happen, because there's no way they could actually stop you from stopping them from letting it happen. If is like with the numbers protesters have. We were pulling who we could out as well. Yeah. It's wild to it's wild that I see so many people get arrested at these things. Now, granted, none of them actually get charged with anything. Like, the charges always get dropped. It's just a fear tactic. And so that they can get, like, your name and shit in systems. It's definitely all bullshit. But, fucking, yeah. Good on y'all. That's really good. That's what I always get whenever, like, I see people getting arrested at protests. I'm always mad that people are not just, like, grouping up on them. That's very good. I think that's exactly how the thing should go. I'm having a super lazy meal. I'm having some bread with veggie sausage, sriracha, and fake American cheese. This is fat-free American cheese. I don't know what scientific concoction it is, but the only ingredients in this is like salt, like some. It's all chemicals. I say chemicals, but it's like salt, yeast enzyme, like 4 different emulsifiers, water, and like a little bit of oil, but so it's saturated fat free. It has a little bit of mono unsaturated fat and polyunsaturated fat, but even then it's super low fat. Yeah, everything is chemicals. That's why I said I don't want to say that, but I don't know how to describe it other than that. But it's literally just like salt, emulsifiers, water, the teensiest amount of like vegetable oil. Like one of these slices, it's mostly salt. It's like it's great. It doesn't really taste that cheesy. Like it has kind of that yeast cheese flavor. Yeah, I got hungry just yapping up a storm watching this video. I was thinking about going to the No Kings around here, but honestly, it was kind of small, and because it's small, there's no pushback on it. So it was really just people standing on one street side. And also, by the time I got out of work today, it was mostly over. If I was able to, like, join it before it started, I definitely would have. But it just didn't stick around very long. I did talk to some people right before that were in it. But, yeah, I wish I was around for it, because I wanted to join this one. Yeah, it's more important in big cities. It was basically just a roadside, like, whatever here. It was, like, a good amount of people, but, you know, also because it didn't actually, like, it didn't really have any attrition or anything. The whole march went from, like, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Like, it was literally over in, like, 3 hours, because they finished the whole marching path in that time. Like, they did a loop around the city. And nothing happened. Like, nothing happened. I mean, it's still pretty big for the area. I think from what I heard, it was like 300 people or something. Like one guy that I know around here who's pretty involved with the local DSA chapter. He was telling me about it. He said, "Yeah, I think we have 300 people," which that's pretty cool. That's when they always do it. They'll always do it near the end anyways, because they're hoping to catch people as they disperse. Yeah, they're always going to do it near when it's already going to end, because they want to grab people as people are going home. They're not going to do it at the Pinnacle when most people are there. Because they know lots of people will leave early because not everyone has the time to be there the whole time. And they also know that as it gets closer, people are just going to like start pre-dispersing. Yeah, we all turned back real quick. Yeah, good. That's exactly what needs to happen.
No, I don't. I don't at all, because it's different isomers that are cooked up by like literal biker gang retards, not actual pharmacies that are like, giving you like a Desoxin script. So it's totally different. Like people just smoking like street meth is like, that's horrible. And I don't really think that anyone should use stimulants ever. But there's a difference between like the meth that people think about from like Breaking Bad and actual like prescription Desoxin.
So if you did have the Heisenberg 99.8% pure, you think that it would come with less adverse effects than what you say is retard
I've
biker
been
myth?
yapping through this for like 3 hours and we're
at the end of
halfway
the day,
through.
because there's a lot of dopamine toxicity that you could get because of how easy it is to abuse the drug. It's super addictive, and there's no doctor controlling the amount that's prescribed to you because you're buying it from drug dealers, obviously.
Yeah.
So people aren't able to control.
It's a very
their dose
mixed
protocol. They're
bag.
doing
Ultimately, I
hundreds of
feel bad
milligrams
for this
sometimes
guy.
and causing a fuck ton of neurotoxicity. That's why I think meth is something that should never really be done. I just share my experiences because I stream so much.
Like my
that if I
overall
tried to hide
interpretation
anything, it would
is
just
that
come
he's
out anyway.
just
I
kind of
began
a
blowing up on
victim of
social
his own
media,
success
and I
and
wanted
life
to ascend
circumstance.
in a very short time frame, so I was meth maxing to lean out as much as possible in a short duration of time.
What was your preferred meth dosage when you're meth maxing?
Usually around like 10 milligrams.
Would that be like a line?
Well, yeah, more or less, or you could take it orally. But like when people hear like methamphetamine, they assume it's like a guy smoking out of a pipe. But 10 milligrams of methamphetamine is quite similar to the average Adderall prescription.
It kind of reminds me of that conversation about like lean versus heroin, how it was normalized to like sip lean, but then it was, people would get shade thrown at them for doing Oxycontin or heroin, but it's so chemically similar. It's kind of the same thing with Adderall and meth.
Well, yeah,
right?
no, what I'm doing is really not trying to like justify my usage or anything, because I stopped doing it. Like it's quite terrible, but that nuance was never something that was included in the headlines, because like math maxing sounds so funny that it's like a headline. It was a lot different than people really could imagine.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? I didn't see you there. I want to show you something super important. So right now on my phone, I have a dope-ass news aggregate pulled up called Ground News, which is Channel 5's primary research tool that we peep before going into the field to figure out what the heck is really going on. Here's how it works. I'm a Clav supporter as well. But as you can see here on the right, there's absolutely no coverage. Not a peep from Fox News, Blaze, Big Tucker, nobody on the right coming to Clavicular's defense. This helped me to understand and truly realize that Clav is a subcultural leader building an empire and army of his own without the positive help of the right-wing political establishment. Except for maybe Peter Thiel, which I'm a bit curious about. Why would the CEO of Palantir be signal-boosting, antisocial, biological determinists willing to sterilize themselves in pursuit of a constantly moving, unattainable success target? If you know more, email me. So back to Clav and the relationship between Clavicular and the mainstream media. I talked about it a bit, but there really
How is
isn't.
Peter
As you can
Thiel
see here, the biggest
involved
Clav
with
story ever,
every
titled
single
Blogging, Maxing,
woman-hating
and Clav
guy
Briefly Explained,
on the
only
planet?
has 6 sources. 6 sources covering it. That's absolute peanuts and crickets compared to the daily Iran war updates. But I'm willing to bet that 75% of young Gen Alpha dudes can tell you when and where Clav last got frame mogged before they could point out the goddamn Strait of Hormuz. And that is why Ground News has a dope-ass feature called the Blind Spot feed, which doesn't just focus on big stories across two-party political lines. They show you things not being covered by the mainstream media at all and help you break out of your algorithmic echo
Big
chamber.
Tucker is the
Boom,
grossest
Ground
thing
News,
I've heard all
dope-ass
day.
News aggregate, and guess what? If you want to be like me,
Reread the Milo tweet. Heard. Rereading the Milo tweet. Rereading the Milo tweet. I'm not saying I won't get there, but the vagina is an organ of cosmic horror. A sweet, pretty slender young girl hides something Lovecraftian between her legs. Hot, hungry, oddly askew. In a world of seahorses and peacocks and delicate moths, our Lord gave her a viper's open jaws. I think every time anyone mentions that shit ever again, I have to reread it. This is the funniest thing ever. I think I just broke my internal retainer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just broke my internal retainer eating this bread. Because it's this crunchy, like, ciabatta bread. Right? You hadn't heard that one, Sky? You hadn't heard that one? You know who Milo Yiannopoulos is? He was popping off back when, like, you were in middle school and I was in, like, early high school. He's a conservative gay comedian who fell out of relevancy because he's so fucking boring. Like, back in 2015. And to try and regain relevance, like, last year, he claimed that he prayed the gay away. I think he got punched probably a couple times. Yeah, he's the type of loser that would get punched, by someone. Yeah, his whole thing was he would try and incite riots at college campuses and then produce, like, you know, essentially, look how they're trying to silence and cancel me. I'm so oppressed type shit. But then, like, you know, college students aren't fucking stupid. So that worked like 2 times. And then college students were just like, what if we fucking ignored him? What if we booked all his tickets for his free college comedy events? What if we booked them all so no one else could book them? And then we just didn't do anything. So these, like, giving talks to empty rooms. And that's what people did. And he fell off a cliff. Like, he disappeared off the internet so fast because he was so easily, like, countered. And yeah, the only thing he's really recently known for is claiming to have prayed the gay away. And clearly that's not true because he's not just gay, but he's also super misogynistic and disgusted by women. Yeah, he's not just gay. He's, like, gay and misogynistic to the point where he's actually he reviles women. He reviles them. It's kind of fucking hysterical. Now, honestly, the only thing I think you can really talk about Milo for is that he's the biggest conservative lolcow. Like, he's so easy to shit on. And it's honestly so funny to shit on him. Because he's such, like, he's poetic. His misogyny is so deeply ingrained. He actually fucking hits Shakespearean bars about how much he hates women. It's fucking awesome. I love dunking on Milo. He's such a loser. He could just be normal. Like, he could just be normal. He made that tweet, like, it's pretty recent. I'd say within 4 months. I can't remember when I first saw it. It was on Threads, by the way. Not X or Twitter or whatever. He posted that on Threads. But that was on Threads within the last 4 months. Definitely within the last 4 months. Because I feel like I saw that either earlier this year or around Christmas. I can't totally remember. But I saw it on Threads when I saw it the first time. And then after that, I just was like, I knew I'd find it on Reddit. So I looked it up on Reddit to make fun of it again.
a dope-ass Ground News subscriber, today is your lucky day. Just go to ground.news/channel5 or scan the QR code on screen right here, and you can get a whopping 40% off the unlimited access Vantage plan, bringing the cost down to about $5 a month. Break free from algorithmic hypnosis. Back to Fort Lauderdale.
Speaking of headlines, like how's your experience been with the mainstream media in general?
Like a lot more positive than a lot of people think it should be. People really want to tie looks maxing to some type of political movement, whether it be, you know, left wing, right wing, whatever. But it is completely apolitical, and I've had good experiences with reporters on both sides of the aisle, and they've, you know, just written based on their experiences, not trying to hit piece me in a lot of regards. So I think that has like thrown people off. If like, you know, GQ, for example, wrote like a nice article because we spent the day with the reporter, he got an honest insight into my routine, my protocol.
Yeah, I
whatever.
definitely broke
It's
my
like,
retainer.
We were very
There's like
hospitable to the guy. You know, he gave us a fair article.
That's
People
gonna be
were like,
future
oh,
me
you know,
problem.
Bro's
Future
like,
me problem.
Whatever. He's got these weird implications behind him for like having a good article from a leftist media company where it's like,
the people who want to eliminate people and the people who just want the right to exist, can't we meet in the middle and just kill half of you?
I'm not a political figure, so
Yeah.
it's like that's pretty sensible.
How was your experience working with Elena?
Elena's great.
Yeah.
I think she's a very nice girl, and I'm glad we got to do that collaboration because that was like one of the key things talked about in looks maxing is like a lot of the male models, like the PSL gods, is what it's like referred to. Not to be like, obviously, what's the word for it? I know that's against the 10 Commandments or whatever.
Sinful.
Yeah, not to be sinful or whatever. That's just how it's referred to on internet forums. Obviously, idealization of people is not good. But yeah, that's like kind of a meme in the community. So actually, like walking on the runway was kind of Mog, and it's like, okay, now you started on the forums, now you're like one of the people that the forum was talking about.
So it was a cool, like, full circle moment for you?
Yeah, a little bit, I guess you could say that.
Was that like the moment you think you're most proud of?
There's been a lot. It's kind of just like a steady up and up so far that there's like a lot of, but that was certainly like one specific event that was, that's a big one.
What's like one event that comes to mind as well that you were like, holy shit, I can't believe that was me in that video and all this is happening?
I just think it's consistency more so than just like becoming like trendy or viral based on one thing. Just the fact that I'm consistently streaming every single day, getting more and more clips out there, doing more and more media appearance, just generally.
Then that's actually a
captivating more
grounded
people with
perspective.
my message, because it resonates super well with a society of men
That's
who are
not grounded,
really not that
though.
well off in a lot of regards.
That's
In what
grounded.
sense? Like, what do you think are the main
Damn,
things
he's
that
so
you're suffering from
50-50.
in 2026?
Economic struggle, lack of success in the dating market, hypergamy, stuff like that.
But your idea is to sort of withdraw from the dating market to an extent and pursue self-improvement in a way to ascend in a way that doesn't put you in last place.
I think you're going to be wasting your time entering the dating market until you are maximized.
In career and aesthetic?
In every metric, yeah, really.
I know you hate talking about politics, and the last thing I want to do is trap you in a politics rabbit hole, but you mentioned that looks maxing isn't political. There is an association in the press with looks maxing and the sort of right-wing manosphere. Do you agree with that?
Wait a minute. If everyone looks maxes and ascends, though, like, let's assume what he's saying happens. Like, we all just start looks maxing and mugging the shit out of each other. We're all just injecting whatever into our fucking testicles so we can be swole, super lean, chiseled femboys. Has he talked in public about being autistic? Because it's pretty clear to me. Yeah, no, he says he is. I've seen him say he is autistic. Like, he is autistic. Like, not just like colloquially. He's on the spectrum. But yeah, what was I fucking saying? Yeah, if everyone just did what Clav wants and looks maxed to the max, and we were all just chiseled Giga Chads, doesn't that now mean something else has to become the priority in the dating pool, even in his like perspective in the world. Because if we're all just hot as fuck, women are either gonna have to judge us on micro like percentages of hotness towards each other, if that's all they care about in his worldview, or a new thing would have to become the differentiating like objective for, or differentiating aspect for women to choose other men over other men, which maybe is the only thing that actually matters in the first place, which is fucking personality and aura. So, like, even in his worldview, eventually it just loops back around to fucking personality. Like, fucking self-confidence, really. This is so dumb.
It's more so just the fact that I've collaborated with, like, people who say, like, edgy things. So that's my brand. It's like, I really don't care. Like, I'm really not trying to be, like, PR or whatever. It would just be too much work, really. So
yeah.
That's why I guess they've tried to do that. But in terms of my actual political ideology and whether or not looks maxing has any political implications, it doesn't. So, and looks maxing is bigger than myself, right? So even if I were to hypothetically be right or left wing, it wouldn't change the fact that looks maxing is apolitical.
What does the S and PSL stand for?
Slut hate. .com.
That's a pretty intense like word, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
You don't think that like veers towards sort of like a anti-woman vibe?
Well, that's not really a looks maxing forum.
But it's in the greater orbit.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there's also like, the owner of looksmax.org also hosts like, the incel forum. It's like, you know what I mean? And there's plenty of hateful rhetoric on there, but that doesn't change the fact that looks maxing as an action is apolitical. Even if there's like people on forums who have had a lack of success with women.
Okay. This is like claiming phenology is fucking apolitical. And is a serious like science. I believe in like phenology, but it doesn't have anything to do with any political outlook. You're using the name of the system that includes, like Andrew pointed out, a website called Slut Hate. The S in PSA stands for Slut Hate.
Women who suddenly turn hateful, it's like, yeah, that has nothing to do with looks maxing, really, because the entire idea of looks maxing is to disassociate with inceldom, is to escape that.
But there is a pipeline like an incel can ascend through looks maxing and get out of a situation.
I think that the word incel has been largely misused, so let's clarify what that actually is. Incels is commonly referred to by the media as just people who hate women on internet forums, when in actuality it's someone who's involuntarily celibate and can't get women. And it is true, a lot of those people,
it's definitely some Olympic level mental gymnastics.
Extremely hateful, and that's an unfortunate thing, because that's really not productive in any regard, is it? I don't support that. Obviously, I would say it's ridiculous to sit there all day writing up like hate posts on a forum. I'm saying the way to actually fix it.
You're gonna see now the delay between when you type shit and it actually appears for me.
Women
is pretty insane, isn't it?
Have any success with them?
You see yourself as potentially helping people like that.
Yeah, like that's the best way to escape that sort of thing is actually by looks maxing.
Have you heard any success stories from your supporters who started off incels and are now killing shit after your protocol?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the main way that people can escape that mentality.
And does that make you feel gratified that you were able to help younger dudes?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the more people who could have success from looks maxing, it kind of just proves me right. So I don't want to think about it necessarily from like an egotistical perspective. It feels good because I'm still not that far out of it, right?
Okay, guys. Gabby just sent me this message. She's hanging out with her friend Courtney. She asked, what is the worst phrase-wise you've ever heard? I'm bringing the Milo tweet back! I'm bringing it back! Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe I get to use my favorite quotes so many times. The Gab question was a paid actor. I just love talking about Milo's women hate too much. I fucking love that shit. I'm actually Milo's biggest fan. I'm actually Milo Yiannopoulos' biggest fan. I hope he keeps doing what he does just so I get deranged shit that he says all the time so that I can keep reading it. Because I love the twisted way in which his fucked little brain works. Random side note, I sent the Gengar off today. So in 3 to 5 days, we should know how goated it is. I'm thinking on the low end a 3, and I'm thinking on the high end a 7. Who knows what, though. Pretty hype.
So I was that guy not too long ago, so I still can put myself in their shoes and empathize with having a bad job, like working in a restaurant, being unattractive, not being able to get girls. It's not like I'm, 40 years old with a long and successful media career. I just started doing this. And yeah, maybe I'm successful now and my life is a little bit different than it was, but it's not, completely out of my hindsight.
As far as the mechanics of like the stuff you do here,
Actually,
like
I think
how
I could
much
just
do you
pull this
stream? Like,
out.
how many hours
Yeah.
per day this month are you streaming?
Well, we're streaming 24/7 for the whole marathon.
Holy shit. Is that exhausting for you?
Yeah, it's been quite brutal so far.
In what sense?
Just like lack of sleep, because sometimes we'll have a segment that comes about late in the night, and then you're up till 6, 7 in the morning. Then the next day is cooked, and then you try to reset your sleep schedule. You can't fall asleep. So that sort of thing has been quite exhausting.
What have been some of your favorite moments from the stream so far this month?
Favorite moments from the stream, we did a couple collabs. Like Blueface was a really exciting one because that was someone we were listening to throughout the come up of my streaming career.
I didn't know you were a rap fan.
Yeah, I like all sorts of music. And then we collabed with Ryan Garcia also, same day. So it's pretty cool to see that. It's always just funny when you see people in real life that you've only seen on like a TV growing up.
As far as your clipping and distribution style, who are your influences in that regard?
In terms of the clipping, that's not something that we really have any control over. Like in a lot of the clips actually make me look like quite jester because it's paid by Kick. We're just a community of people on like a CPM basis. We can't like tell the clippers like, oh, like this moment was really good. A lot of times they'll like AI my face with like goofy filters and shit. And like, for example, I was working out not too long ago and they like edited it till the end of my set and they were like, he only gets 2 reps with this weight or whatever. The clipping is great and it really does help push you out there. Like I was #1 in clipping views. A lot of reporters fall for
Kick,
clipping memes. Like,
when you
reporter
get a
called me
Kick
yesterday
contract, they
asking about,
fucking
like,
create
the
clip
Chad
farms for you?
ranking thing or whatever. I don't know if you've seen that on Twitter.
Dude, how do I get that
exactly.
gig?
It's just
Clip.
It's just some stupid,
Kick.
stupid Twitter meme. But
what do
the
I have
thing
to
is,
do
like,
for that?
actually part of the
Is it
meme
required
Did you
that
expect
like is there a
the frame
requirement
logging
that I'm a
ASU
white
frat
boy that
leader,
says the
clip
N-word?
would go as viral
Because
as
it
it
kind
did?
of seems like that's the
No,
general vibe
not
of a lot of
really,
people
but I
on Kick.
never really
I know
predict
there's people that
what's gonna
stream
go
on Kick
viral.
that
Do
aren't
you
bad.
orchestrate
Like
some
I
of
like
these
Pay
moments,
Money
or do they
Wubby
occur
quite a
naturally?
bit,
They occur
and I know he
naturally.
does Kick
Just you in the
streams.
field?
Yeah, I mean,
How do
we
I get
just
that
stream so
gig?
many
How do I
hours
get paid
that crazy
clip
shit is just bound to
farmers?
happen
I
with
need
the
clip
environments that we're
farmers.
going into.
Do you know
One thing
how
that I've seen
hard
be
it
a
is
major point
to
of debate and
do all
contention
the
is the whole
things I
body
do
count.
and then have
What do you
time
think
to
is the
fucking
ideal
edit
body count?
clips
Well,
out of a
for-
4-hour
Let's start
stream?
with for dudes, for guys like us.
It's so
Really,
hard to
there's an
remember
ideal.
when
I think
I
that
did
the
something
argument that all
entertaining
our
in a
red pillars
4-hour
and people in
stream.
the manosphere give is like getting this amount of bodies so that you're able to understand female nature and this, that, and the other thing, when that's really not true and it's not necessary. I think what it's really about is just the willingness to like put your foot down in bad relationships and leave, because a lot of dudes are so desperate. They finally get that girlfriend and they're so unwilling to lose it that they just have their girlfriend walking all over them, not respecting them, and that's more so the problem. And that's something that, you know, men who are getting a lot of women are more likely to avoid. But you can avoid it without having 50 sexual partners, certainly.
What do you think's the ideal body count for a woman? Does it matter?
I would say that having any previous sexual encounters is not good.
So the ideal situation is like a virgin?
Correct, yeah.
Why?
Because of something
God,
called
what
pair
the
bonding.
fuck?
That's what a relationship is all about, right? A long-term relationship with a partner, being pair bonded with different brain chemicals with that person. So if that process is damaged in any sort of way, that just reduces the chance of success in that relationship, right? So that's not like an anti-woman perspective.
Yes, it is. That's also very conservative. That's very
It's
right
not just
wing.
like low IQ, typical jester, whore.
Don't talk shit about my wife, you stupid. Shut your fucking mouth. You lick sniz. You're a fucking dyke.
That's really like all that you get, you know, saying the word like whore. And it's like, if you're just gonna do that without, you know, giving any reason on why the promiscuity is bad, then you're just like a jester. It doesn't mean anything.
So do you think males lose pair bonding value in the same way that women do as they get
No,
increased?
it's a little bit different.
How come you think?
Well, just the way that our brain chemistries are different, right? So, and it's also not necessarily a bad thing, because it's like we're talking about before, the ability to put your foot down and leave bad situations. Because the framing in a relationship has, for centuries, throughout the entire existence of organized societies, has been in the favor of men, right? It's been male-dominated societies. That's sort of what needs to be restored.
Don't you think you maybe want a more experienced?
You literally want to empower the patriarchy.
Intimacy?
No, because that's not what sex is intended for, right? That's, yeah, like it's enjoyable.
Lol,
to
YouTube
have
auto-modded
sex with
my
women, but
last
that's
comment.
not
I didn't even
the
see
intention
that. It
behind
did? Like,
and
it
that was
didn't even
never meant to
notify
be.
me.
This is like a very new thing in the context of history. People just have regular sex with random people for pure pleasure and then never talk to them again.
But weren't the ancient Romans on some like gay orgy vibes? And like samurais were on some gay shit?
First of all, it's not even the Romans necessarily, it was more so the army, but like what's the relevance of that?
But you're talking about the people having sex for pleasure as a new thing and that beforehand it was not used for that purpose.
I said generally.
Generally, got you.
But yeah, in terms of relationship, just because like Roman soldiers who hadn't seen their wives and have no ability to see their wives were homosexual, that doesn't, change what I'm saying.
But it was outliers back then.
Yeah, it almost is like the same context as people in prison who aren't able to have sex with their wife.
So back to what you were saying, which I think is super interesting. You're saying you feel like nowadays the relationship and human intimacy and sex has changed.
Yeah, it has changed.
And in the sense that before it was more just about procreation?
Yeah, more about intimacy, procreation, bonding with your partner, and now that really doesn't exist.
And what do you think, I guess, hypersexualized our society?
The sexual revolution, clubbing culture, just it
I
being
paraphrased
normalized,
his crazy belief that
all that kind of
his
stuff.
ideal
So
woman is a
relatively new stuff.
virgin.
Like you're talking pretty much since like the mid-1900s.
Yeah. That's just everything he's saying right here is so wacko. I'm actually dumbstruck because it's also kind of boring, honestly, because this is the most played out fuck women, their property, like patriarchy is where it's at. Society's only flourished because men are on top. Women's brains don't work the same. Men have these more stable, logical super brains. It's all just so stupid. It's boring. It's so blasé. I mean, if anything, let's be real. Let's be totally real. If anything, women are smarter. And we can just see that shit in like college graduation rates at this point. Now, part of this is definitely societal. There's more societal support that allows women to make it through college at this point, while there's more societal things that cause men to be unable to go to college, mostly for economic reasons. But even then, women just are better at education. Like, they're just smarter. So if we're going to play like our brains work different, and and we
church
should
specifically.
structure
I just wondered if
society
you grew up
some
religious.
way
Yeah, I went to
because of
Catholic
that.
school.
Let's
Okay,
be
word,
fucking
that was
real.
your experience,
We're
right?
the dumb
Good.
ones.
I read that your parents were involved.
We're
in
the ones who
bodybuilding
have a
too?
hormone
Yeah,
that
my
makes
mom.
our
Your
brains
dad's who, just mom?
irrational.
My dad just lifted recreationally.
But you were around people who exercised in your life and people who cared about their aesthetic long before looks maxing came into the picture, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's the main thing you feel like the mainstream media gets wrong about you that you really feel like needs to be rectified?
That looks maxing is from a place of insecurity. That is true for a lot of people, but that's not universal. Like, you could just encounter all of these different studies that I'm referencing from like online dating apps or, you know, stuff with looks correlating to higher average incomes and decide, oh, it makes sense for me to dedicate my time to looks maxing because you calculate the ROI.
I'm just confused because it's like, on one hand, you're saying you want to like help men improve their aesthetics and succeed in life so that they don't feel so lonely and they're not so hateful and they can go out and succeed. Then you also say that like going out and dating and stuff's a waste of time and that you should prioritize looks maxing and aesthetic improvement. So I'm just trying to figure out like what the real goal is for improvement because it kind of feels like a closed circle, you know?
Well, so you're maxing and then, you know, you're putting into play any of the things we were talking about, like, you know, low income maxing with pre-gab, for example, and going out and doing stuff like that. That just has a lower ROI if you haven't looks maxed. But you're gonna have a lack of success.
Once you reach like maximum MOG levels, maximum aesthetic, like when you become a true 10, at that point.
Then you get to do whatever you really feel is the path for you. And I couldn't tell you that. But whatever path that you decide, you're going to have a much easier time and you're gonna be a lot better off. So yeah,
so that hypothetical I was talking about before is actually what he thinks.
He
thinks everyone should look max
because
until they hit max, till they hit a 10. You should be look maxing till you cap out,
So,
and then you get to do other things. And not until you're a 10 can you do anything else.
Equation out of it.
Yeah,
that's because I don't know. You're you, I'm me, and you know we get to this spot of being maxed out in as many metrics as possible, and then we take it from there.
Has anybody reached full ascension?
Ascending is kind of like an ongoing process. Like,
is there any 10s out there, like people who have?
No.
Really?
No.
Will there ever be a sort of messiah?
Not with the technology we have now.
The methods would have to improve to the point where like scientific evolution would precede that.
Yeah, more so like just surgical intervention. Who knows? So I'm really not going to predict what sort of science is going to come in the future.
How did you feel about the whole like Miami club controversy a few months ago?
The controversy I'm referring to is how many people, including myself, became aware of Clav in the first place. So, while on stream, a while ago now, Clav went to a nightclub in Miami with some other guys. While they were out, both in the Sprinter van and inside the club, somebody played Kanye's famous Hitler song. You know the one. The incident led to widespread media attention, condemnation.
And he's also hanging out with Nick fucking Nazi Fuentes, the groiper and chief, while listening to the Black Nazi Kanye West's Nazi anthem. I recognize some of those other people who's hanging out with too, like Sneeko, who's also an anti-Semite and borderline a Nazi, and definitely an incel misogynist. For someone who's not right-wing, he's sure hanging out with a lot of right-wingers. And not just like old school center American right, which all American politicians are right wing, but center American right. He's hanging out with fucking the new Reich. He's fucking out here hanging out with the Zoomer Reich. Are you kidding me? I didn't even know this. What nonsense are you fucking talking about? Apolitical. You are hanging out with Nick Fuentes, Sneeko, some other Nazi motherfuckers, and listening to the new Nazi anthem. Shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up. And you also want to restore patriarchy? Dude, shut the fuck up! You're definitely a brain-rotten Nazi! Jesus Christ! What?
a blame game amongst participants, and earned Clav a lifelong ban from all major Miami clubs.
How did I feel about it?
Yeah, the aftermath, like the
Well, I
magnitude
mean,
of
it
coverage.
sucks not being able to go to like some of the mod clubs. I mean, I just started college club maxing. In a lot of ways, that was like actually better because it's more affordable actually. So like, you know, a lot of people like sort of like to talk about that in interviews, and it's like, dude, what's the relevance? Like, how is that even correlated with looks maxing?
You talk about
And
mainstream
Andrew
coverage
Tate.
and the magnitude of coverage that has came after some of these controversies and the things they get wrong.
Yeah. So I'd say that would be something that they get wrong. That you know, I'm political.
So when you were with those guys, you didn't know that was going to happen?
No. I mean, no one really intended on that. Like, I didn't play it. It's just like kind of interesting how like that keeps getting like brought back. It really like kind of died off.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even need to talk about it. I was just wondering if you had any closing commentary on it or anything reflective you had to say about it.
I had nothing to do with it.
In general, what's your 10-year plan? Do you think that far ahead?
No. I was actually talking to one of my buddies the other day. Like, the goalpost is always moving, so it would be ridiculous to set a goal for yourself.
You have a dream collaboration?
I mean, there's a lot of people who I'd like to collaborate with, some bigger media personalities. I mean, having as many like press appearances as possible is always a good thing because it allows you to talk to new audiences, right? You're targeting a little bit older of a demographic within Gen Z.
Our demographic is basically the latest Gen Z. So like the average Channel 5 viewer is a 27-year-old American man.
Whereas I'm like more 18 to 24. That's good.
I think it's super interesting too, like the volume of content they seem to appreciate. They like content filmed over a long period of time, like 8 hours of content straight, and they want it live. Whereas our audience prefers a more polished, maybe 15-minute piece that's like a bunch of footage edited perfectly and has like a narrative arc and a through line.
Yeah, I think there's all sorts of media that people enjoy, but I think the main part of streaming that people enjoy is just like not knowing what's gonna happen next. It sort of seems like in a lot of my streams, like things can take a turn for the worst, the best. Like, you really don't know what.
Yeah,
what to expect.
it's
I
a
don't know what to
FOMO
expect.
aspect.
Yeah, 'cause you're filming so much
People
stuff, it's
stick
like,
around
fuck, what's
because
gonna
they're
happen? Is there any
expecting
moments you
something
regret
crazy
from
to
streaming?
happen,
Not
and they want to
really,
be there
'cause
live when it
we're here now.
happens.
So
That's
even the
I
losses you took
understand
on
the
way
appeal
were
to
all
stuff
part of
like
the
that.
hustle and the journey.
I just don't
Yeah,
care.
because like, you learn like maybe that's not a good idea to do that.
From a security standpoint, how do you stop stream snipers from ruining your
I'm not gonna talk about that.
Okay. Just because you don't want people to know what your protocol is?
Correct.
Word. Trying to think what else I should ask about. It's tough because I don't want to put you in any boxes, but I'm sure there's people that probably want to know about various controversies. If you don't want to talk about any, that's cool.
I mean, more so like to talk about like
Ro
looks
is
maxing
hanging
in my
out with the most
interviews,
fascist folks and
it's,
saying
like,
he's
kind of annoying because
apolitical is
no
crazy.
interviewer
I know.
has
I actually
like,
didn't
come
know
up
about
with
any of
a
that, and I'm
question ever
losing my
that's been
fucking
more than
mind.
what would be
I
the
am
number
now
one piece of
thinking
advice you would
he's
recommend
less
people to look
tragic
at.
and
I've
more he is
genuinely
like I was
never
saying
had a
he's
single
not too
person
cooked.
ask
We
me
could pull him out of the
specifics
fryer.
about
He
how
might be
these
too
two
cooked.
things
He might be
interact,
too cooked,
or
guys.
how does
He
looks
might be too
maxing
fucking
differ
well
from
done.
This age to this age.
He
Is it
really
still
might.
possible to looks max?
If he
Like,
can't be
there's no
introspective and
effort
realize
really
what he's
behind
fucking
the
doing,
questions
he
that
might be
you
too
guys
cooked.
Prepare seemingly. It
He
just
might be
seems
well
to be a lot
done.
of, like gotcha mode.
He might be
like,
burnt.
Clip farm shit. And
Well, I'm
it's
not
like,
doing that.
Yeah, you are a little bit to a degree.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
when you see the full presentation, it's not really going to be edited or clipped into my
Well,
face.
just because it's not the worst interview I've had. I mean, like you had like a couple of ones that you were trying to sneak in with like, oh, what is slut hate? It's like,
yeah, I mean, it's the second letter in the.
But I mean, like you know what you're intentionally trying to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out because it's a pretty strongly worded forum and subculture.
Yeah, and that would be fine if that question was in there because it's decently relevant to the culture, but there was not even a single genuine attempt at like a specific looks max question.
Well, I'm not in the looks maxing community. I'm trying to learn about it. Not everyone talking to you is going to be a niche person who knows about all the methods.
Yeah, I know you're not in the looks maxing community, but you didn't even ask a looks maxing
Andrew is
question,
actually
like,
such
at
a
all.
good
You don't need to be in
interviewer.
the looks maxing community to ask a looks maxing question.
I think we've been talking about looks maxing this whole time.
We've been talking about like the philosophy behind it, and it's.
You want me to ask you a scientific question about looks maxing?
I just think it's kind of funny how like that's really never been done with the amount of like media appearances.
Maybe people don't know you want to be asked that. Well, now they will.
Well, that's quite literally what your companies, your
What do you
press
mean your companies? You think I work for like Time Warner or something?
Your press companies. You work for Channel 5.
It's a YouTube channel called Channel 5. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm the CEO of my own company. I don't have any agenda at play here.
Holy semantics, dude. Like,
it's a pretty big difference between working for an affiliate news station like Channel 5, the TV company.
Well, the fact of the matter is, like, you guys specifically reach out. We want to interview him about looks maxing, and then you'll start asking like political questions, and I'm just like, okay.
Because it's political, dipshit.
Really, like, afraid to answer anything, you know.
Dude, is Clavicular actually a fucking nitwit?
But
or like,
not a
I'm so sorry. You're a child. I'm so sorry. You're actually a
What's
child.
The question I should ask?
But
that's up to you.
Are you actually this immature, or are you just so fucking dumb? You're either a liar,
well, I mean,
just too immature, or you are the dumbest.
I mean, like,
fucking
identify like anything
human
that you have
I've laid my
about, like,
eyes on.
You know, you wake up with.
Oh my God, I'm actually mad now.
In the morning, and like, you know, even something like that. I mean, just like, even if you don't give a shit, I mean, like, it would be like, at least, you know, you put a little bit of effort into.
I think I've done a pretty good interview.
From what, like, context? Because if it's from the context of
he's
what
done
you
a great
guys
interview.
reached out was your intention.
You're just mad that he's putting he's not giving you a glaze job.
I want to learn about you, and that was what I was trying to give you the opportunity to do.
Well, no, I know. I think that's totally fair, and that's I applaud you for that. But not one, you know, question about looks maxing.
There's been so many questions about looks maxing. I probably asked you about looks maxing like 40 times. I just don't know the specific science. I'm not in the community.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, if you were to ask about like something in regards to hair loss, like, there's really nothing.
Yeah, sure, hair loss.
You see what I mean?
You're telling me what you're trying to get me to.
What to ask. So when you wake up every single morning and you take a look in the mirror, you're 100% satisfied with every single thing. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay, dude. All right. Well, I guess that's just, if you want to be completely disingenuous, that's fine with me. I guess there's just no point to continue.
All right.
Dude, how tall is Andrew? How tall is Andrew? I just realized this. Look at how long he is. Like, is he like 6'5"? Because isn't Clav like 6'1" or something? Like, Andrew is definitely taller than Clav. Like, he really did mog him. He really did mog him. Fucking Andrew mogged Clav. Also, the aura move of saying... The fucking aura move of, yeah, going, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He can believe someone is happy with their own flawed body. 101 body dysmorphia. Yeah, he can't. He's so uncomfortable with himself, he cannot empathize with the idea that other people are happy with themselves. Which is wild. That's truly wild. And, oh my God, see a therapist. See a therapist. Holy fuck. You know, my biggest take at this point is, I hope he goes to jail for 5 years. Not because I want him in jail, but because he needs to not be famous for 5 years. Otherwise, he's fucking doomed. The only way this poor child makes it out of this situation he's in with any level of introspection and doesn't just become a full-on fucking like Kanye West style Nazi in 10 years. Like, he's going to just be like a totally fucked in the head, narcissistic schizophrenic in like 10 to 15 years, unless he has a period where he can cool the fuck off, not in the limelight. This kid is not ready. Throw him away for the alligator thing. Throw him away for the alligator thing.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right.
Yep.
Wow, he's cortisol spiking. He's cortisol spiking.
Yeah, no, everything's fine. We're all good. Yeah.
Though a bit disappointed that things panned out the way they did, I was too overwhelmed with excitement to trip too hard about Clav cutting things short. I'd just gotten word hours prior that rapper and newly championed First Amendment icon Afro Man was down to give Channel 5 his first long-form interview.
Afro
after
Man!
The Adams County Sheriff's Department in Ohio, whose officers sued him for defamation.
Oh yeah!
Afro Man wrote a song.
Fuck the police, Afro Man!
Unconstitutionally raiding his home back in 2022. Here's a preview of that.
They don't know they're the original man God created. They don't know they invented the pyramid. They don't know the Moors took
yes!
To the
yes, Afro Man! Yes!
And the Moors brought knowledge to Spain and Europe.
Oh my God, he's a hotep! I love it! He's a hotep! Oh, it's all I've ever wanted! Yes, Afro Man!
Call themselves that.
If you'd like to see that interview with Afro Man in its raw form,
oh my God, I'm gonna watch that! I'm gonna watch that so hard!
Along with the
oh, I love hoteps!
Although Clavicular didn't exactly see
Andrew, you're spoiling me!
He actually invited our crew back out the next night because he, like most people, wanted to party with our co-host, Saddam.
Yo, can you define success to me?
You're looking at it, brother.
Would you rather have financial success, looks-matic success, or like romantic success?
Looks first, everything else follows.
Yeah, we're right here. We're in the
He's so high. He's so high.
The whole section full of Stacy's, and we're just chill maxing.
Dude, let's be real. For someone who's taking that much test, Clav does not look that jacked at all. Dude, like, if I slimmed up, I would look exactly like him. Like, if I, like, he's probably, like, sub 12% body fat or something, right? Like, if I slimmed up, I would look exactly like that. And I am, like, I work out, but I'm also pretty lazy about it. Like, it's not like I'm hitting a bunch of fucking groups. I do squats, I do curls, I do shoulder presses, I do push-ups, I do some, like, fucking hamstring shit. YouTube is eating half my comments that are harmless, for fuck's sake. Really? What in the world? YouTube's comment suppression. The only thing I have blocked on my end is slurs. So unless you're saying, like, the F slur, the N slur, the T slur, there's like 5 slurs that I could think of that I blocked myself. There's like 5 slurs that I blocked myself. I didn't block anything else. So everything else is just YouTube's auto mod. Yeah, I have not done anything except block like 5 slurs. But yeah, like for someone who's taken so much tests, his testicles shriveled up. I cannot believe he doesn't look more jacked, actually. Like, for real.
Man, some niggas is hella serious about this shit. They're really about that lip smack.
Like, dude, my chest is bigger than that, and I have a small chest. My chest is bigger than that, and I have a small chest. I think my arms might even be bigger. Like, my fucking arms are, like, fucking, aren't fucking, like, super, what's the word? Shredded looking, but my arms are fucking, like, thick. I got 15-inch biceps right now. That's pretty big. Especially the backside of my arm. I do a lot of exercises that exercise the backside of my arm, so I have a lot of backside meat. I don't have any fucking, like, any arm fat either. Fucking, I hit a lot of arms like a dude, bro. I've been doing forearms too. I'm just saying, like, I don't work out super seriously, and I think I got normal tests in my system, and I'm pretty sure Send me a pic in Discord? Absolutely. 15 inches is too much. Let's see. Afroman is a 10 on Aramaxing. Yo, what? It removed your comments. Wait, YouTube. What is this? I swear I'm apolitical. Hitler's just my buddy. It fucking canceled you because you said Hitler? YouTube, what is this? YouTube, you're crazy. What are you censoring here, YouTube? You're fucking wild. YouTube. So these are the ones that were censored. Afroman is a 10 on Aramaxing scale. He really is. I fucking love Afroman. And then the other one, because I didn't see it, was I swear I'm apolitical. Hitler's just my buddy. What? What? YouTube, that's ridiculous. Free my man. Let him speak. Let him speak. But I'm just saying, if I was going to take so much tests that my testicles shriveled up like raisinets, I'd expect to look better than that. I'd be pissed if I looked like basically me but skinny, and I took so much test that my testicles shriveled into raisins. That's just me. That's just me, though.
This nigga a god to some people. What's your thoughts on looks maxing?
People can do whatever they want. Me personally, I like the way I look, so I'm happy with that. I don't have to do anything. But if you want to change something about yourself, then it's whatever.
Bro, if there's something you don't like about yourself, change it, man. Wake up and just change it.
Are you a looks maxer?
No. Stop living a life you don't want to live, you know what I'm saying?
The societal indoctrination of looks not mattering is completely ridiculous, and I think that's been shown throughout the last 10 to 15 years with social media. You know, if you're really serious about improving tangible things like...
Again. I'm gonna have to bring him up again. XQC is the biggest example of all of these people being out of their fucking minds. Also, Asmongold, the Roach Lord. He's like the most popular person on the internet. I swear, I can't not see Asmongold going, yeah, dude, based, to some fascism every fucking day, and I've blocked him just so I don't have to see that decaying fucking necromancer of a man speak his vile breath into the world. You have actual ghouls who are popular and wildly successful. And then you just have funny blonde goblins from Ontario. Asmongold is the Pied Piper of roaches. Yeah, like, Asmongold is someone that I can't believe is popular, but is the definition of he just put endless content out there, and eventually it stuck. XQC, like, he's entertaining, but I also have to point out, he's not hot, he's not, like, this kind of pinnacle of hotness, he's not a pinnacle gamer, he's not a pinnacle funny guy, he's not anything, he's just a dude who sounds kind of funny, and lives a super, like, out-of-touch lifestyle now that he's rich. But he wasn't always like that. He started as just a weird goblin gamer who sits by crouching like this and playing his games and go, we gotta hear and he's fucking like 100 millionaire. All of these look maxers' ideology is entirely irrelevant when faced with the reality. When faced with the reality that there are some super mid dudes who are wildly successful. Asmon was a good WoW YouTuber a decade ago. Then he discovered the right-wing grift and never looked back. True. Also, he had an OnlyFans model break up with him. So, of course, he took the straight dive into misogyny. And anything that accompanies it. Dude, a lot of dudes get their heart broken one time and then go, Hell! 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 That's fucking one time. One time. Insane.
Money, status, relationships, like improving looks is a pretty obvious thing to do.
If you have to looks max, you're not that hot.
What are your thoughts on the looks maxing movement?
I love it. I love everything about it.
Why is that?
Because, I mean, if you can improve yourself, why not? Do it. Do it for the fun. Why not look good, have money, and be successful all at the same time? You know what I'm saying? And if you attract more people into your life, that's more opportunity.
That's a theory I'm going to explain to you. It's called trickle-down economics. You see all these...
I'm apolitical is now going to give us a club lesson on austerity politics.
Bitches are here because I invited them, but obviously I can't have sex with all of them. It's just too much work. So that they trickle down, and then the rest of the buddies can take care of it.
I knew very little about Clavicular. I now know too much about Clavicular, and I've decided I do not feel sorry for Clavicular anymore. I still feel a little sorry, because, like, I feel sorry for most people that have any type of problems, but goddamn, he needs to go to jail for shooting that alligator now. It's the only thing that can save him. If they don't put him in jail for shooting that alligator, he's fucked. He's so fucked. All quiet on the frontal lobe. Yo, good top comment. All quiet on the frontal lobe. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Dude, I don't even know. I don't even know. I was gonna do some gaming after, but I don't even know what I want to do. I was thinking about Wu Chang, but honestly, I don't know if I can play a game that requires me to be good with my cough medicine brain. So like maybe I play a game that I can be bad at, or that I'm already bad at. Dude, the way when you buy things, it immediately floods your algos with stuff. I get served so much Pokemon, like, shorts and content now. It's wild. It is wild. Oh my god. Yeah, it only took 4 hours to go through 1 hour of content. If that's not translated